This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua.
Rolling down 109 in a truck. Pull my ride up to the light, that's what's up. Look to my right and it's a ride rolling up. It's Lucci telling me tonight we in the club. He got the 24 road Escalade. He got the Lamborghini doors like they blades. His hammers ring cause that's how he was raised. His palace mob and tonight we get
Listen, I'm from the ghetto, the slums, the rats, the roaches, the bums, the metal that stuns, the addicts, the cracks, the crumbs. The level with funds is tragic and lavish as none. With rebels, they runs and rabbits like savages' sons. With did him and bigger and swiftly he shined the mud. That city a pity with 50 took 9 of them slugs. This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua. This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua.
rolling down 109 in a truck. Pull my ride up to the light, that's what's up. Look to my right and it's a ride rolling up. It's Lucci telling me tonight we in the club. He got the 24 road Escalade. He got the Lamborghini doors like they blades. His hammers ring cause that's how he was raised. His palace mob and tonight we get
Listen, I'm from the ghetto, the slums, the rats, the roaches, the bums, the metal that stuns, the addicts, the cracks, the crumbs. The level with funds is tragic and lavish as none. With rebels, they runs and rabbits like savages' sons. With did him and bigger and swiftly he shined the mud. That city a pity with 50 took 9 of them slugs. This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua.
What's good? What's good? 25 to Life family. I'm your host, your brother, Uncle Yahshua, known as Uncle Yahshua. Let me make sure my mic is on. My mic sounds, I don't know if it's on. My mic, all right, it's on. My mic sounds nice. Check 1. That's that old, that's that old salt and pepper. I got that old salt and pepper. That's a rap group, guys. For the youngins, them women, Salt and Pepper. They used to be popping back in the days. My mic sounds right, check 1. My mic sounds right, check 2. That used to be the jam. All right. Welcome to Uncle Yahshua 25 to Life Testimony TV. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we doing something a little different. I look a little dark on the screen. Let me see. Is it the white of my shirt? Yep, look, the screen got lighter. Now, let me see. Oh, it is what it is. All right, I know y'all can see me. That when that happens, when I play it back, you can see me live. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Sorry, guys, got a little started, a little new 8:30 tonight because I was doing a lot of stuff, doing a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of things. All right, but I tonight is a little different because I got my I got to continue my documentary series, right? Because my documentaries on the channel is really what grows the channel, right? So my live streams, what we do here, and a lot of times on my live streams, I tell the testimony of my life, right? But the growth and everything really comes from the documentaries that I do. Some pretty dope documentaries, if I may say so myself. Kind of got a little bit of editing skills, kind of got a little skills, storytelling skills. So, and the agenda of the channel is to grow the channel so that my story can reach more people. So I actually not doing the channel to be just, having clout about, telling war stories or just telling stories of the life that we lived foolishly when we were in the streets of New York City. Uncle Yahshua, when we was in the streets of New York City in the 70s and 80s and 90s, during the crack era and stuff. But the real goal of the channel is to see the transformation of me, the testimony of me changing my life and going legit and to pour into the children, to pour into the young and the youth, and even those elders who ain't got it together, to see that, you can get it together. Like, you can do this, guys. Like, you can change your life. If I could change mine, anybody can change theirs. So the testimony, the scripture says others are saved by your testimony. So the testimonies is a bearing witness to the life that I lived, right? So I have to grow the channel, right? So that's why I have to do the documentary. It just takes a lot of work and editing, but you got to do what you got to do, right? So our lives, we might only get, a couple hundred views or something like that on the live. But my movies, my documentaries, they do pretty well, especially for a small channel. You know what I mean? We just reached like 1,000 something subscribers, but it keeps growing. So I got to get back to the formula, doing some more of the documentaries. So then as the channel grows, right? Let's say we get to 2, 3, 5, 10, 20,000, whatever, then there'll be more people on the live. And then the more people that watch the documentary and subscribe and start to watch some of the videos that I put out, not just the lives, they can have an investment in who is this brother. I kind of like, his teaching style. I kind of like his stories. He seemed to be, stamped in the culture back in the days, from the testimonies and the stories. And then that way, when my life stories, my testimonies and my transformations, then it could help reach someone else. Because that's what this channel is all about, right? And all about that. You know what I mean? I got a whole ministry channel over there. We do some decent little numbers over there, you know what I mean? Without no promotion, we're doing all the shadow ban that they're doing against me. But I got to grow the channel because the Most High told me it's the ministry first, and he said it's the business second. So I got an investment channel and all that, teaching y'all how to do digital currency and stock and trading and all the different things. I'll be sharing that here too later after I get other pieces of stuff together. But it's the ministry first, which this is ministry. My life story is my ministry, how the Most High changed me, how it changed my life over. Especially from the darkest spaces that I was in. That's insane, like I'm even alive, right? And I, he blessed me and gave me a second chance after the 25 to life, the first 15 to life sentence, and then the 25 to life. You know what I mean? He allowed me to get a second chance at my life. So that means my life is in service, in service, so that others don't make the same mistakes and get jammed up in that situation or dead. Because the life I was living, you would end up in prison or dead. That was it. And that's all we cared about. That's what we knew. Didn't think we would live to be 30 and 40 years old. We weren't living for that. So, all right. So now, tonight is going to be a little different. So, but I think you guys will enjoy, and we will get, we'll get some understanding and everything from it. All right. So, I need to, like I said, hold on. I can't see you guys no more. Why I can't see y'all? Where? I don't understand. Did the Zoom stop or something? I don't even see what's going on. They messing with me, guys, because I can't see. Oh, go here. Oh, over there. Okay, that's why, because I got it up. I need to open up another. Okay, that's why I need to open up another thing. Oh, y'all still there? Oh, let me see the comments. Make sure I ain't tripping. All right, shout out to Phyllis Richards in the building. Shout out to Big, all right, I said big things going down. Shout out to everybody in the building, the whole Mashiach Assembly, Yasha, Kayana, Abriya, Delaris Yah, Lara Yah, Elena. Shout out to Y Yad in the building, Yahakanan. Shout out to Yashara La, Delaris Yah, I think I said that already. Shout out to Yanak in the building. Everybody in the building, everybody that's going to come over on Facebook a little later stuff. All right. Delaris Yah said, we still here, Unc. All right. So, hold on. Somebody gave a like over. Shout out to James Hogwood over there on Facebook Live. Shout out to James Hogwood out there. All right. So I know my New Yorkers are coming a little later. And I put the thumbnail up so they might see it a little later. So now we need to shout out to the North Star. Oh, that's that's my brother Star the Gift in the building. Shout out to Star the Gift in the building. I know Star checking in for one of these stories. He like, he's cool. He cool with your testimonies, Uncle. With the documentaries and stuff, right? So I'll be doing my thing with the docs, and I think Star be doing his documentary. He got some big documentary coming, like big movie thing with some New York, one of them big New York blood dudes and stuff. You know what I mean? Start doing this thing, you know what I mean? Documentary, docu-style, real big movie style documentaries. All right. So, yeah, so guys, I got my docs coming. So tonight, I'm going to touch on, tonight is going to be like a piece of my docu that I'm going to use because I got my Big Preacher documentary coming on. So those who don't know, you'll have a little bit of understanding about him tonight, but it's this going to be pretty dope. So I got this dope Preacher documentary. So my documentaries are like movies, you know what I mean? That's coming. And this I'll probably include some pieces from this in that. All right. So all right. So just to show you, let me see, present, share screen, bang, share. There we go. All right. So let me make sure y'all can see. Yep, they can see it. All right. So view tab, YouTube, go back to that. Okay. So this is my channel, right? So, right, you know, we only got 1,000 and something, but my Pappy Mason documentary movie doing 11,000 views, right? So that's this, right? Pretty dope documentary. All right, once my internet lets it play. But pretty dope documentary. And so for those who don't know that think we only got live streams, nah, we got pretty dope documentary / movies on the channel.
At the Queen's House of Detention and even threatened Fat Cat's girl after his arrest. I don't know what you know, Pappy allegedly told her, but Fat Cat said, you better forget it. When Fat Cat's parole officer was killed for violating Cat's state parole, Pappy Mason became the main suspect. February 28, 1985, Queens detectives arrested Pappy Mason for the murder on Fat Cat crew member Perry Bellamy's statement, the snitch. Bellamy snitched and told the cops that he lured the police
to... I don't know what's going on my internet. I think it's just because I'm going live and it's messing up my internet. But yeah, this documentary is pretty dope. All right, so I got my Preacher documentary coming.
Pappy was in a rage. That it has to die, Pappy said. He dissed me. He got to die. By the time Pappy Mason left jail in 1983, he had already spent a quarter of his 23 years of life in some form of lockup or detention. Pappy emerged as Fat Cat's man on the streets, his right arm. We lose one, they lose one, Pappy allegedly told Marshall. Pappy wanted the Bebos to send the police a message. We of the 4 suspects made videotape statements right off the rip implicating themselves, Fat Cat, and Pappy. The only one who didn't talk was
I just want to see a little intro of some of my movies. Let me stop share. All right, let me come back over here. All right, so yeah, that's what I said. It looked all blurry, right? Quality at 144p. Like, what is that? I'm like, what is that? What in the world are they doing to me? Sabotage the mess, because my thing is crisp and clean. Look, it said auto 360p. I don't know what. All right, let's see. Let me change it. It's only giving me 720p quality too. I don't know why. I don't know what is the. Well, that's a little clearer because my thing is 1080p all day, every day, right? I don't know what in the world. They try to hurt the brother Yasha. They like, look, and they only give me 720p as the top quality. You know what I mean? That was horrible. They like, Unc, ain't nobody about to watch. Ain't nobody about to watch that, Unc. You need to step your editing skills up or something, your movie skills. All right, let me do that again so y'all can see it clear. Here, a little clear.
Pappy was in a rage. That it has to die, Pappy said. He dissed me. He got to die. By the time Pappy Mason left jail in 1983, he had already spent a quarter of his 23 years of life in some form of lockup or detention. Pappy emerged as Fat Cat's man on the streets, his right arm. We lose one, they lose one, Pappy allegedly told Marshall. Pappy wanted the Bebos to send the police a message. We of the 4 suspects made videotape statements right off the rip implicating themselves, Fat Cat, and Pappy. The only one who didn't talk was Philip Copeland.
And Fat Cat turns around and says, off this.
All right. So that's a little better. I'm like, I don't know what, and they was trying to, they was trying to do a whammy on me. I'm like, my thing is in, and when y'all watch it on YouTube, it's in 1080p. That was 720p. I don't know what they messing with I guess because I'm live and it's pulling all my bandwidth from my internet or something. I don't know what that is. But thank you for Yasha for telling me to turn that off, because I would have watched it back on the live and been like, oh my goodness, it's all fuzzy looking all crazy. You have people like, oh sorry, I ain't gonna watch that video. So anyway, I got some my docus, my old stories. So I'm gonna be still doing our live streams, but I gotta also start doing some of our movies, right? Some of our docus. All right, so now tonight's thumbnail. The 48, I think I wrote it here. No, the 48 laws of Preacher, the Black Hand of Death. All right. So now, this story of Preacher is a very dark legend. To all the people, I'm gonna have to do that in this documentary, because some people be getting in their feelings, because I be calling these people legends, and they're like, I agree, I like your video, but they're not legends, so stop calling them that. Guys, legend does not mean, the word legend does not mean it was a good person. All right. What's his name? What's that fool name? The little dude that played like he was Jesus Christ. Charles Manson is a legend. Do you understand? Have you not heard of urban legends? Have you not heard of, what was that movie? What was that movie with the black dude? And it was a scary movie, horror movie. And he was the one, I think you say the name in the mirror and he come. What was that? What was that movie? Shout out to Four Corner Media P. Yeah, Clarence Heatley and Preacher. So what was that movie where you say his name 3 times and he come in, the black dude, that scary movie back in the days? Somebody gotta write it. Y'all gonna remember. Somebody gonna Candyman. Candyman. Remember when we was little? I used to be trying to test that out. Y'all remember the Bloody Mary thing in the mirror, right? Don't do that, guys, because you invite spirits into your. You would definitely invite spirits. Do not turn off your lights and be talking about some Bloody Mary in the mirror 5, 10 times. Man, I remember we did that. I think you're supposed to say something like 10 times. I think I got to number 8 and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna go all the way with this. I'm glad I did. You be inviting spirits in. That stuff is for real. So Four Corner Media said he grew up around Preacher and his family. Shout out to you, Four Corner Media. If you wanted to, King, you could email me at Uncle Yashua Truth TV at yahoo.com, and because I'm still doing my Preacher documentary, and it's gonna do some real numbers, because I got another plan that I'm about to do to really blow the channel up. So it should do some serious numbers. So if you email me, King, I can interview you for the docu if you got any type of first-hand story on Preacher, because I got a first-hand story with Preacher. So that's why I'm about to show a little bit about who I am in this, so people at home, and I'm gonna do it in the documentary. And I got a new intro for a little piece that I'm gonna put for the intro for the channel, so the people who just find this be thinking like, who this dude? He's some internet dude. I look young, you know what I mean? I look like I'm probably their age. Like he just some internet dude on here acting like he was he was this and he was, not saying I was nobody, whatever, but I got receipts and people know, you know what I mean? Like my brother Starter Gift, he official, you know what I mean? That's who hooked me up with Dipset and Luca Brasi and all them with them Harlem Boys and all that. He official, so he seen me coming through. That was later. I'm coming through with my Benzes and trucks and stuff. So anyway, Four Corner Media. If you want to, just hit me up, King, and we could collab, and I could do a little Zoom. I interview you for the thing. You could tell your little story and hook it up in the docu. All right. So So now this story. So this Preacher, I know y'all like Preacher. For those who don't know his story, Preacher was a New York City dark legend. I'm gonna start calling him. Shout out to Unique in the building. Shamar Jackson in the building. Shout out to Unique in the building. I'm gonna start calling him a dark legend, because people get in their feelings. Legend don't mean that they were good people. It just mean their name is still ringing bells. The thing they did was legendary. It doesn't mean good. The word legend is not synonymous with good. So guys, get out your feelings, guys. You guys be emotional. You know, sometimes guys be effeminate, man. They just always got something to say, right? So these are dark legends. He's a legend, right? If you shout out, ask Four Corner Media. If you was sorry guys, let me pull my hair. If you was in New York City in the 80s and the 90s, oh, and you was doing something, you was outside. If you was outside, and what I mean by outside, you know, they got that new saying, well, it's not new, but the young saying outside. If you was outside, then you would have known that dark legend, because you would have had to beware of that dark legend. And I was outside. So I knew about preacher, and I had a sort of an incident. I'm not going to say it here. I'm going to save it for the documentary. But yeah, I had a confrontation with him because I was outside. All right. Now, speaking of outside, he said, thanks, bro, but can't speak on that situation because my people still around. Feel me? Yep, I feel you. 100,000%. Feel you 100% Four Corner Media, but it's all good. So once the video drop, you know what I mean? Just, you know, come on in. I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to Four Corner Media out there. I'm guessing he from the Bronx or Harlem. All right. So, because Preacher was a Harlem dude, but was doing his monster stuff in the Bronx, but he was going all over the place, you know, trying to check anywhere he could check it. So anyway, now, as this, let me do this now. As this new, and I got this new thing I'm gonna try. This might be sound kind of dope right here. So I'm putting together this little intro clip at the beginning that I'll have at the beginning, a little bit of the channel, but definitely for all my movies and documentaries, so that the new people will find, they can understand that there is history here. I'm not just some YouTube dude up here just talking. I was there. I was there when these people were there. These Alpo, Rich Porter, what's his name? Haitian Jack, Preacher. I'm trying to say the famous ones, these dark street legends, Pappy Mason, Fat Cat, Supreme, and the Supreme Team, the one that they make all the movies over. Like these New York City dark legends, dark street legends. You know what I mean? I was there. All right. So here we go. Let me do this brand. Let me do this. I'm gonna start that. So then I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. Present, bang, share screen. Oh, do it got sound? No, it don't got sound, so I could play it. Yeah, it do got sound. So that means I need to pull it up here. So that means I need to open another tab. Give me 1 second. Make a new window. Bang. All right, make that smaller. Bang. Then go here and pull it here without music. Yep, pull that here. I'm glad I thought of that because I'm thinking I'm on my Zoom, but we on what's the name? We on StreamYard. Bang. All right, there we go. Because I got some sound with it because I put a little transition with it. All right, so here we go. And it's gonna be a dope intro once I make the intro. But I just wanted to do this for tonight's story to get a little intro to where we at tonight, what we doing. You can't be speaking. That's the problem. You got people speaking on other people's story in life. They be using AI, artificial intelligence, to tell stories, and they be stuff they ain't know nothing. They wasn't there. They weren't even born. It be other, no disrespect, but it be little white dudes in doggone Iowa somewhere making a video about Preacher so he can make money, and people, you know what I mean, like proliferating off of the trauma that we went through, you know what I mean, but still not even putting respect on it. They just doing it for the bag, you know what I mean. So again, we not promoting no negativity or none of that, but I was there in the 80s and 90s when these nasty black monsters, they were black men, so I could say so-called black. These monsters were running around during the crack era in New York City. It was death. I mean, it was disgusting, bro. It was like Monster City. So much money, but so much death. I mean, so much money, but so much death. All right? So now, I got that loaded. I got that. Let me turn this on. I got my new little thing I'm about to do right here. Hold on. So I got to stop share to do that then. So let me cancel that. Let me turn that on first. Here we go. All right, I got my little background music, if y'all can hear that, for what we got going on. So all right, now let me present. Hopefully y'all can hear that. Y'all hear that background music? Y'all, somebody write in the chat, make sure y'all can hear the background music. Y'all hear the background music? Let me know. That part, do your thing, let's go. Let me know, somebody. Y'all hear the background music? Four Corners said facts, it was crazy. All right, Laria said they can hear it. Shout out to the Bronx. Laria out in the Bronx right now. Shout out to her dog, Lil Jojo. All right, y'all can hear it? All right. Yeah, it was crazy, guys. It was nothing to play with. It was death everywhere. And the beast, the serpent seed, pushed crack and murder and killing into our neighborhoods. They pumped it into our neighborhoods to destroy the original seed. Like, remember from the Black Panthers and the Revolution and all of that, where what's his name, J. Edgar Hoover from the FBI, he said we have to destroy them because a Messiah will come through this bloodline. So they killed Fred Hampton, they killed Malcolm X, they killed Martin Luther King, they enslaved and put on drugs Huey Newton and Cleaver and Carmichael and anybody, anything, and then they flooded crack into our generation. They flooded heroin into the generation before us, but they flooded crack into our generation, but we still had the heroin there. You heard? And that caused a whole different breed of killing and murder and monster. It was the level of poverty to flood this thing where you could make $1 million, but it was breeding monsters, man. This thing was crazy. Four Corner Media said 170 Townsend Avenue in the Bronx, stand up. All right. So now, shout out to KD Kid in the building. He must have came in too. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, so that didn't loop. Oh, it did loop. All right, it's all rocking. It's popping now. All right, let's go. So, all right, now I'm gonna share my screen. Share screen. There we go. So it's this one. Share. So this is me. I think this is the late 80s. This is around 86, 87, somewhere. This is outside. Right here, I'm in South Jamaica, Queens by South Road, by Queens Gate, with Supreme Team and them with their movie and they docu, where they had their strip. Their strip was called Queens Gate. Shout out to Unique in the building. Wait till I do my first-hand story on the Supreme Team about Queens Gate. I got inside stuff. Well, nothing, I ain't telling nothing to nobody, but I'm saying on what was going on, because we was going there to buy the drugs. Unique, remember that? And Baisley Park, parking the car in Baisley Park. It's a park with a lake and a parking lot. It's be 1,000 cars. This one Fat Cat owned this spot on Rockaway. Okay, on Rockaway. Yeah, outside. Now I did my time for all the crime that I committed back there, and I changed my life. But this intro, when I make my intro for it, it'll be quick and fast and everything, but it'll be showing that I was there. You see this picture? That's me. I'm only like 17, 18. I got on Stonewash jeans. Y'all remember Stonewash? Those are red and gold Stonewash. They only really made blue and white. I got on an MCM jacket. I got the 3-finger ring right here on this side, and it's a 4-finger ring on this side. You see, that's the top of it. You see it's a little red, that's red tape around the bottom so it can hold it. It was a little slide off my finger. So I taped the bottom of it. It's a big dollar sign, a big, you know the money sign, a big money sign going across, 4-finger ring on this one, and this the lion head one everybody had, the big block, nugget gold block 4-finger ring. You see the big truck rope, you heard? With the MCM, I had the pants to this too. You heard? This is the 80s. This is outside. If you were wearing this in the 80s, listen guys, you ain't wearing this in the 80s. This is when Clarence, Preacher Heatley, this was when Preach was running around. This is when all of the monsters were running around. You not getting out your car, going to no store, no deli, nowhere. You ain't outside wearing this if you ain't pulling it down. You understand? They taking everything, more or less. Somebody like this, if you're walking around like this, I ain't saying I was nothing, but I could show you I was outside like this. Let the facts speak for themselves. All right, because I was not no toughest where I'm from. I come from legends where I'm from. I'm from Hempstead, Strong Island, from Parkside Projects. I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, Brevoort Projects. Also lived on Gates and True. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, where I live. I live in St. Albans, Jamaica, Queens. I live in Cambria Heights, Jamaica, Queens. And then later I went to North Carolina and did my real estate. Shout out to Bull Durham, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Henderson, North Carolina. And now I'm in Orlando, but I'm a man of the Most High. But back then when I was doing my thing, those are places where I'm from. You heard? And I was outside. Okay? Now, here we go. That's one picture of me. That's in Southside Jamaica, Queens, where my ex had a spot. That's me right there. Unique, me and Dow Lex was with me right here. As Unique is watching this right now. This is what? Queen's Day. This is the 1980s. Look at me on my waistband, 3 beepers. Y'all see that? Remember beepers of Four Corner Media? This is outside. Listen to me, guys. Now, the other picture, yeah, I was in someone's basement. I was taking a picture. That's inside. You could be like, yeah, bro, you wasn't outside. You ain't had that on outside. You just took a picture. You probably took that off when you went outside. You can't get more outside than this right here. Let me show you something. That right there, I wish I could make it bigger. I should have put it in my thing to make it big. That's a cop. He got the old New York City uniform. This is Queen's Day at Flushing Meadow Park. Let me explain something to y'all what was running around here. Brooklyn Zoo was running around. Listen clearly. It was a crew of 100 Brooklyn goons running around, snatching pocketbooks, snatching earrings out of girls' ears, snatching chains, beating up, robbing everything. Brooklyn was running around like crazy. If you was outside, you know what I'm talking about. These are Patrick Ewings on my feet. This is a Wilson sweatsuit. Wilson, it looks kind of green, but it's really like a bluish aquamarine green, white. You heard? 3 beepers. Look at the neck. You heard? Let me I think I got a closer up. There we go. Look at the neck. Look at the neck. That's 3 big truck. It's a Gucci Link truck on there, a big rope truck on there, and it's a big Nefertiti head, but the white, you can't see it. It's right here. It's huge with a red, that right there is a red thing, a red emerald in the Nefertiti head. You heard? A big one. That's 3 dookies. You heard? Facts. And look how young I look. You heard? This is outside. All right, now I ain't promoting this stuff. I did my crime for the time I committed, but I'm gonna do it's gonna be a quick intro, ain't gonna be drawn out. But as I gotta go forth, people need to know like who this, because you know everybody on the internet just saying anything. You know what I mean? Some of us were really there and traumatized by it. You heard? So anybody that was there from the 80s and 90s and all that, we was traumatized by it. Especially if you was outside. This was no joke. It was no time or no joke. How you think I'm at Flushing Meadow, Queens Park like this? This is outside. You heard? Now look, let me go back a little and show y'all. This is outside. This stuff you can't make up. All right? That ain't inside. I'm going to show that one more time. I am outside. Not only does I mean the proverbial outside, I'm literally outside. Y'all see? This is Queen's Day. All right? Facts in the 80s. I think this might be 91, 92. Only thing I do, you know what year this was? Google the year that Patrick Ewing sneakers came out. That's what year this was, because I had on white ones when they first came. They were the hottest things in the world. Got on white Patrick Ewings. I actually got them from what's the name? Pickin in Bed-Stuy. All right, East New York. Y'all know them out the strip on Pickin, the shopping strip. Yeah, wearing this in the 80s on Pickin in Brooklyn shopping. And matter of fact, would that come out in this one? Yeah. Because I used to get a lot of my wares. Pickin had the sneakers, boy. Pickin was popping back then. East New York in the building. You know what I'm talking about. Brooklyn, stand up. All right. So anyway, let's continue. All right, let me continue to the next one. All right. So these are receipts. All right, that's me. You heard? You see that? That's a Fendi suit. Right? Now look, that's that same 4-finger ring from the other one with the big lion head. 3-finger ring with the big lion head. Now on this hand, I got a whole bunch, another set of rings. Unique no remember that. Remember the story? They remember I used to wear all these rings on my hand. Look, this right here is a long rope. It's hanging all the way down. Then that's another big chunky rope under it. This a red and gold Fendi. All these are little F's. That says Rashawn with the 2 F's for Fendi. Right? On the back it had the universal flag and it had Indian Black Prince Fendi and said, think it ain't Parkside when it is. That's my projects. Everybody in Hempstead, they remember this. They remember me rocking this suit. And these are some Butter Soft Guess leather pants. Butter Soft Guess branded leather pants. You heard? This is outside. This is actually the Coliseum Mall on Jamaica Avenue downstairs taking a picture. You heard? Outside. You ain't wearing this. This is I think this like the early 90s too. Okay, like 91, something like, no, I think this might be even earlier than that. I think this the 80s. That's right. This like the 80s something, right? 88, 87, 89. All right? This is outside. You ain't wearing this and preaching them ain't coming trying to chop your whole. What do you think if preachers saw me? Now listen clearly. What do you think would happen if preachers saw me getting out of my Benz or my BMW or something or my Audi back then with all this on? Now I ain't no tough nobody, but receipts is one thing. Receipts are one thing. That's what this channel is about, receipts. And it ain't glorifying nothing but tonight's story. When I'm doing my documentaries, y'all see what I'm talking about. When I put my intro together, so when people come, they can put some respect on the channel and understand, okay, I can watch this. This is official. And I ain't glorifying nothing. You understand? I did all my time for the crime that I committed. But this was a hand dealt to me. I ain't had no parents or none of that. So this is all I knew, was getting that bag and that money. And death was around the corner at every turn. Every turn. All right? This ain't nothing to be glorified. That's me. Shout out to my brother Granddaddy IU. He just died, the rapper. This is Video Music Box and Ralph McDaniel giving a peaceful journey to Granddaddy IU. Ralph McDaniel put out our video that was out on Video Music Box. That's me. I'm probably all of 17 or something years old. And that's IU. He got the mic to me and I'm saying a quick rap to his theme song. I got the video to it. I'll be putting it out one time. But this is the 80s. Right here, I got another Fendi coat on. This is a black and gold. See, that's gold. And that's a gold, the hood. And it's a big Fendi. And it says, think it ain't Fendi when it is on the back. And I got a big F right here, gold and gold pockets. And it's black and gold. You heard? And that's a big Gucci link. And that's a Lacoste Sportif jacket under it. It's a suit. So it's a Lacoste Sportif, right? And it's got the pants to match. It's a sweatsuit under it, and that's a Kango. Y'all remember Kangos? Y'all know this back in the days. They got a Kango on. You heard? So I know my brother Four Corner Media is like, all right, this is official receipts. Okay, official receipts. This is outside. All right, we in Harlem. We in the Lyricist Lounge or somewhere. I got a story about this. When me and IU did this, Big L, the rapper Big L, the famous one, everybody, you know, the legendary rapper Big L, Fat Joe and them, the whole Digging in the Crates crew, Lord Finesse, all of them. We was in the bathroom. We was all battling. We was battling in the bathroom. I got a crazy story about this one. Receipts. We outside, and I had the big silver 500 Mercedes that we drove in. You heard? Official, my car, IU. All right? Now, again, not glorifying nothing, just bringing receipts. All right, I think this is the last receipt I'm going to show. All right, that's a little later. Now, this in the 90s, because I got my silver Diamante. Remember the Diamantes? I had a silver Diamante wagon. This one, 17-inch rims was the biggest rims. And this is me outside. You heard? Another piece on a little later in time. All right, still outside. You heard? I ain't inside taking this picture. All right, and that's a Pele Goose, reversible. See the inside? See that blue? And that I could turn it inside. The other side, it's a whole nother coat. And the other side got a big Pele in the back. You heard? All right. So anyway, Not glorifying nothing, but this is just receipts of that I was there. I was outside. All right? So let me go back to that one. That's the 80s. Outside, MCM. All right? Now let me stop share. This stuff ain't nothing to glorify. I'm going to say it again. It's nothing to glorify. Oh, I had another one. One more. One more for the road. This one. This one. Y'all appreciate this one. How do I do it? Present one more for the road. Because I'm putting this together for my my intro. I'm going to be chopping it up. Y'all see, I'll make it do what it got to do. So, where is it? Where? A window. That one. That one. Share. That's one more for y'all. That's me and my baby. That's my baby Star. This is Jamaica. This is Sunrise Mall in Queens, in Long Island borderline. The famous Sunrise Mall where the Sunrise movie theater come at. I got a story coming about the Sunrise movie theater where E Moneybags, another dark New York street legend, E Moneybags. Okay, the one who killed Black Just with Supreme. He had it on with Supreme teaming them. When E Moneybags and them, when they shot up the Sunrise movie theater, I was there. This is the mall right next to it. This is outside. Look at my baby. My baby right here, she's 30-something years old now. This little girl. That's my baby Star. All right, let me scroll in. This is a white Levi jean suit. This when we start rocking jean suits. So that's the jean jacket and the pants. And we used to rock no shirt under it. So you got the six pack. You got all your jewels on. You got no shirt on it. So the jacket just would be a little open when you walking on. Oh yeah. Probably got on some fresh white troops or Diodoras or whatever's on my feet. You heard? And that's back when I was putting Gucci and Fendi and stuff on my sneakers and stuff. All right? That's my baby is now 30 years old. That's Star. Look at my neck. That's a Gucci link. That's a thick Gucci link. That's the thick one too, the heavy one. That ain't the thin one. That's a Gucci link. You heard? One gold tooth in the mouth. Shout out to Eddie Gold's caps. This before gold tooth caught on. When it was only one, you used to only want to rock one gold tooth. You put it on the side or in the front somewhere. When it first started, Eddie Gold caps on Hillside Jamaica Avenue. He in Atlanta now. This is history facts. You heard? This the other one. Get a little closer to the Gucci link. You heard? All right. That's enough for that. Stop share. All right. So I thought I would bring the receipts, guys. Bring the receipts. Let me turn off the music. I thought I would bring the receipts. So I'm gonna be doing the intro. I'm gonna do a little clip intro to show so that when people come as the channel grow, because I'm gonna blow the channel up when I do my documentaries and start doing my promotions and stuff I gotta do. I'm gonna blow it up because it's about the ministry, so it's about reaching more people. So let me come back to brand. Let me come back to the comments. All right. So yes, that's my baby girl. So all right. So even if Four Corner Media didn't know, I know he probably like, oh, okay, you was outside. Okay, now I can listen to you, right? Because that's how I am. No problem. I listen to anybody, though. You know what I mean? Anybody could tell a story. So, I ain't know my brother Kevin Jeter was in the building tonight. Shout out to my sister Tawana McCullough in the building. Hempstead Strong Island in the building. And my elder Kevin Jeter. It's so funny. I got a picture. Ooh, you here, Kev. I got you. I got you right now. And it's so funny because I just saw the picture when I was, watch this, Kev. I got you, Kev. I just saw a picture when I was finding my old pictures. I saw this picture and I'm about to do it right now. Hold on. Go to here. I know how to find it too. I got you, Kev. Here. Where is it? Go to here. And then if I scroll over, because that's when I scrolled over and I was like, dang, where is it? No, that ain't it. I'm going to find it. Oh, go back. It was the other way. I got to go back the other way. Come on. There you go. I got you, Kev. All right, so I want to be able to open it up. Oh, there you go. I can open it up from right here. Yep. Here we go. Look at this one. This one for the road. I was waiting. I said, when Kev come back, whenever he come back, I'm gonna show this picture. And I didn't know you was coming tonight. And I just saw the picture when I was finding these old pictures in my thing. So present. Now this one I was really young. Share screen. Window. Bang. There you go. Look at this, guys. I got you, Kev. Kev, I don't even know if you remember this picture, Kev. Look at this, Unique. Now this is Unique. This your bedroom. This Unique's bedroom. That's me on the floor. Look how young. I got a white Kango on. I got black and silver Pumas, red leather pants. That's Moondog. That's Ty Fields. And that's Big Kev Jeter. That's Unique bedroom. Look at Unique wall. Look at Unique right there with his baby mama on the wall. That's him with some Cazelles on. I think that's him again with Cazelles on, with a Kango bucket hat with Cazelles. But look at us. Look at Kev Jeter. Look at Kev. That's Kev Jeter. He was huge too. Kev was so big. That's my elder right there, my OG. Shout out to Kev Jeter. That's Ty Fields. That's Moondog. Shout out to Moondog. And that's me with a white Kango. I'm young. I'm younger than all of them. They all got me by like 5, 6, 7 years. But I always ran with older. I was never, you know what I mean? I was always ahead of my time with the older, you know. We in Unique. I guess Unique, you must have been taking the picture. Kev G, I know Kev, like, I wonder if Kev remember us taking this picture. I just found it, Kev. Facts. All right? Facts. All right, guys. So let me stop sharing now. I got you, Kev. I said one day when he come back, I'm going to show it. All right. So, Four Corner said, I rock with you because you a brew. Shalom. Oh, I didn't know you was a brew. Shalom, King. Shalom. Ya'ada in the building. Judah in the building. All right. That's what's up. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's get started with tonight's I'm just scrolling up to see about, I don't want to miss if anybody else came in the building. All right, Ewans was the sneakers. We never tucked our jewels. Facts, we always was fly, did outside for real. Oh, we never tucked nothing. That was one thing we didn't, I mean, it was crazy, right? Foolish, but it's just how we was just living like that. Like we was everywhere. That's why I showed you pictures in Jamaica Avenue. I'm showing you pictures of in Queens. I'm showing you pictures. Well, most of those was Queens, but I got pictures of us everywhere. We was everywhere. I lived everywhere. You heard? And drove everything everywhere. Right? All right. So now the thumbnail in the story is Preacher. This is the thumbnail. 48 Laws of Preacher and the Black Hand of Death. In the 80s, it was so bad that they tried to destroy the original people, the people of the book, who got cursed by their ancestors and sent on slave ships across the 4 corners of the planet Earth. They got cursed, right? And they knew, the scripture says, the Bible says, if we get them to curse themselves, we would be able to proliferate off of their misery, keep them in degradation, poverty, and every nation will have their foot on our neck, on our backs. And each nation will proliferate off of us cursing ourselves. So if they would keep eating us swine, having us eat swine in the abomination, keep having us commit all type of sins and adultery and fornication, keep having us outside of the covenant of the Most High, we will never proliferate. So they would send alcohol, they would send drugs, heroin, crack, cocaine, weed, K2 now, Molly and Perkins, like, oh, now this the new stuff. But they would send, sorry guys, but they would send Christianity, you heard? They would send Jesus Christ, the biggest drug. I ain't saying no disrespect to my Christians, but wake up. Watch Mashiach Assembly Ministries, House of Yah, right? But the Most High would send, now listen, people ain't gonna like this. Some of these religious people and Christians, Most High would send Islam to help preserve his children. Different sects of Islam, the nations of gods and earth, a set of Islam, the Islamic sects, the Muslims, the Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, he would send Islam to help get our people off swine and clean up our people, to keep a remnant of his children holy enough, set apart enough, so that they can be a light to the rest. Otherwise, because they was trying to always exterminate the so-called black people, the so-called black man. They'll tell you the South. Doggone, what's his name? J. Edgar Hoover, which was half black. Oh, I got that coming out, right? Anyway, but they get us to hate ourselves. But he kept saying a Messiah would come through this line. They know who we are. They know where we come from. So they're out here trying to destroy. They was been trying to destroy us since Pharaoh in Egypt and all that type of stuff. So don't let them ooish people lying to you talking about they was in Egypt. Tell them to go there now and go work in the sun and see what happened to them. That sun have been burned. That sun to tell you they wasn't there 2,000 years ago. And the Egyptians drew who the Hebrews was there. The Egyptians were black and the Hebrews were black. And Jesus, who they called Jesus, his name was Yahshua, the Hebrew, or Yahshua, or Yahweh, or whatever Hebrew dialect you want to call him, Yahusha, whatever you want to call him. He was a Hebrew, all right, from the tribe of Judah, the fourth tribe. That's what the Bible talks about. He was a black. So he hid in Egypt amongst the black Egyptians. They were black too. The Arabs were black too. That's Ishmael, right? These are sons of Abraham. Okay, so these are sons of Isaac, but these are grandsons of Abraham, right? So all right, so sons of Abraham, Ishmael and Isaac. Sorry. So now they so the original Arabs were brown, black, what they call black too. All right, the original. Now they whited them out, and they whited out the Egyptians as well. And now they telling you those people who are over there are the original. They're not. The original Egyptians are still there, and they're in the ghettos and the slums with the rats, the roaches, and the bums, right? Like my title, my intro. And the original Arabs go to any Arab land, all through India, anywhere you got to go, and go to the untouchables. Go and find them. They in the ghettos, the slums with the rats, the roaches, the bums, and they just as dark as we are. You heard? Some of them have, we come in all shades and forms, though. Right? Well, darker than us. So they come and, some straighter hair, curly hair, whatever. These are the original Hebrews. That's who we are. So they always knew who we are. So they always trying to stomp us out. So they doing it now. What do they got the little black kids doing now? They got them running around, guys, with their pants hanging off their butt, doing all type of drugs, can't even speak English anymore. They can't even, you understand? They not even, like, they effeminized and all in their feelings, and just, right, a continual destruction of the original seed. Now in the 80s we had our big dose of it. They introduced crack. Oh my goodness, boy. This drug here was the devil himself in a drug. Nothing was unleashed like crack. Heroin was bad, but they could function off heroin. You understand? They would get sick. You got your heroin addicts, they get their fix and get up and go to work, right? They get their fix early in the morning. That's why I ain't like selling no heroin back then. I remember I told the story here. LL was selling heroin. I told L don't do it. Shout out to LL, Game 7. Boy, he had them heroin fees. They out there scratching Jamal. I'm like, oh my goodness. L, I told you, do not mess with that stuff. When they get sick, they ain't playing, right? But you give them their fix, they on their way. They go to work, they do everything. They can run their whole, but crack, ooh, crack was like Hashatan, the Shaitan, the devil, the adversary released in something that you could smoke. It was like, guys, crack was like them smoking the devil himself. You understand? It was like the devil taking the devil and solidifying him, taking him from the spirit realm, mixing him chemically, solidifying him, bringing him into the physical realm, into a substance, and taking that substance and lighting it. Listen clearly, making it, right? You got to make it, whatever, bring it to the physical realm. Then take the substance, then put fire, which is another element to it, fire, and then once the fire do smoke, and then the physical thing turns back to spiritual because it turns to smoke, and you inhale. It's like inhaling Hashatan ever with the hit. The devil, and there will be no coming from it. That thing was the biggest monster to ever hit the so-called black people in the history of life. Shout out to Q Dog. Shout out to Ozzy Claxton in the building. Ozzy said facts. Crack was the devil. Yo, this thing, guys, crack, my goodness, bro. Crack was, and then they pumped it so that the level of poverty that we were under, the money, once the people would take one hit, the money, they would do anything for it. Meaning they would sell their children, they would sell their mother, they would sell their TV, their houses, they would sell the wedding rings, any heirlooms. Nothing meant nothing to them but crack. Mean nothing. Nothing had any importance. That's why I said it was literally the devil they was inhaling themselves. Nothing had no importance over crack. This is the 80s crack. Yeah, freebase was first, but I'm talking about the crack. Yeah, so Q-Dog, no. So freebase was first. That's before they termed the crack. So the freebase, all right, let me explain to y'all guys. The freebase was when they started first, and it was with the white people, right? And then that's where they found out the power of this freebase. And they used to use lye and what's that other thing? Ammonia. They had the other thing that they made the freebase with. And it was like a chemical experiment, right? And the freebase is so it's still base. That's why we call them base heads at the beginning. They weren't. So guys, I'm glad you brought that out, Q-Dog. Let's give them a little history lesson. So guys, there was no such thing as crackheads. I know y'all like, what? Crack wasn't first. It was called base heads. Public Enemy got a song called Night of the Living Bass Heads. And they go, bass, how low do you go? Well, that's for the, no, that was, he was talking about the music, bass, how low do you go? But bass heads, okay? So it was freebasing first, okay? We had bass, there was no such thing as crack or crackheads. It was bass heads back in the days when they first brought crack to the hood. Bass heads. Now, the freebase. So then what they did was, this the serpent seed, this the beast. They realized this is the devil. This is our father into the physical form that we could get them to ingest him in his fullness, and it'll possess them with the fullness of our father Hashatan, their devil, their father, the serpent seed, the seeds of the serpent, these wicked people. All right. Now, what they did was they realized, okay, if we can find a way to chemically make this where everybody can make it, because when they were the freebase, to make that, you needed expensive, more expensive tools, things to mix it with that lye and ammonia. It's kind of like making meth, amphetamines. You know how they got labs to blow up and stuff like that, right? So now, you know, for the stuff they push at the poor white people, right? Because they designed that stuff for us, though it just didn't kick in. Because we ain't gonna have no labs and making all. We need stuff simple, right? Because we too busy with poverty. We too busy to be trying to have them chemical labs and stuff. So they came up with a concoction that you can use baking soda, which only cost back then 10 cents a box or 5 cents. You got like, that's free basically. Baking soda and water. You heard? Hot and cold water and some baking soda, cold water, ice cubes, whatever. And then the revolution of spinning. Just knowing with the heat, the water, the revolution of spinning, and that baking soda compound mixed with that cocaine drug that come from the poppy seed from the Most High, mix that chemical as sorcery. That's why we are not to do. That's another, listen guys, that's another curse over us. It's outside of the Most High law. Remember, they said if we get them to curse themselves, right? So they figured that out a way. And then when they created that way that they can flood into the hood and we could learn, because I knew how to cook. I could cook up a whole thing in it right here. I could put 2-3 ounces right up in here with some water and have that thing full like this, clinking, clinking. So when you do it, it clinks up and it clinks, right? Because you spin it like this. See my cranberry juice? I won't do it. Now, again, I did my time for the crime I committed. I'm not promoting it, but this is what I learned as a child. I learned that how to do it. It was a skill set, a chemist. And you with heat. I could do this with baking soda with a lighter. It used to get so bad, guys, that we used to baby jars. Baby jars were what we really did. Baby food, got baby food with the jar, and I could do it with a lighter. And you take a rag and you keep, because the bottom will get black, and you have to keep lighting until it start to get hot and start to, oh yeah. This ain't nothing to promote. This is just facts. All right, just letting you know I was there and I was a victim of it. All right, and I went to prison and all that, and I went to jail and did my time for all the crimes I committed. Now, I'm not promoting nothing. I'm just telling you this is what happened to us. Okay, this is the 80s and the 90s. Crack, I think they released it on us. The crack, I don't know. I think they released Freebase probably came out in like the probably 81, 82, somewhere around there. But then it turned into crack, I think about 80, probably 84, something like that, 85. Because I remember when it flooded our streets, I don't remember if it was called crack. It was probably still called Freebase when it first flooded our streets about 84 when it came. Because me and Ty, the one that was in the picture with me and Kev Jeter, we was one of the last on my park side. We didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to sell it. We were still selling cocaine. Now I did my crime for the time that I did my time for it. We didn't want to sell it because we could see what it was doing, but then we had no choice. I mean, we couldn't make a penny with coke. I mean, we'd be out there from day to day. They running the fees, the cars, but the 80s was insane. The cars and the fiends just running cars, thousands of people out there selling and running the cars, and just, it was crazy, bro. It was like a zoo in the street, money everywhere. Everybody could make thousands of dollars. It was just everywhere. And me and Ty, we had no choice. Like, we were one of the last Mohicans. We be out there with everybody all night, smoking weed and stuff and everything. We been to made $40 at the end of the night, and my boy next to me made $3,000. This one made $2,000. This one made $2,000. This one made $10,000. This one made $1,500. And we made. I'm looking at Taste. I made 40. He made 35, 40, and we kept doing it till when it got down to like we only making 40. We had to we had no Taste. No, I'll probably interview him and get him on here. Taste no, was like, well, and that's when we went to Brooklyn. We went, all right, so we transitioned. And that started me into the crack era. All right? Yeah. The government, let us eat death. Q-Dog said the government let us eat. Yep, they let us eat death. Yeah, New York City was definitely a sample of how bad it was. Now they pushed this on us, on the children, to destroy. So the poverty. So one hand, some of us, the kids, we'll see as a way to feed our families and feed ourselves, right? Because we couldn't get jobs and stuff like that. And then they set up the laws against the crack. Now you make the crack from the cocaine. I'm gonna get back to that. But they sentence you 5 times the sentence for cocaine. So you got the same amount of crack with the same amount of cocaine. And if you with the crack, you're gonna get 10, 15 years in prison. And with the cocaine, they give you probation. Right? Because their children were still doing the cocaine and they pumped the crack on us. Come from the same thing. Right? Now, the free base. Once it became crack, this is the original. So for those who really went there, I'm an elder. I was there when this happened. We was there when it was called freebase and was no crack. It was called crack because of the sound that it made. Okay, when the fiends put it into the pipe and they would smoke it, it would crackle, like it would crackle, and they called it first crackle. It was called crackle. I remember, they used to come up on the street. They're like, yo, you got that crackle? Right? And at first we didn't know what, like crackle, but it caught on because it used to be bass. They used to come up there looking for bass. Yo, who got that bass? Right? Now, then they start calling it crackle. And they were like, you got that crackle. And then, it caught on. We knew what it was because the fiends named it because of the sound that it made, the crackling sound. When they smoked it, it would crackle. Now, later, the crackle got cut down to crack. this probably one of the first channels that I really seen really explain really how it got. 'Cause I see all these type of theories. I'm like, they were wrong. That is not how it got named. The fiends named it, and they named it crackle because when they smoke it, because I know some of the dealers, it makes a crackle when you cook it too, when it clink up. So when it rock up, it go clink 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 clink, so it's not really a crackle. It makes a clink sound. Some people thought it got cracked from that, but no, it was from the fiends. Ozzy said, cooking up bing bing is short way to produce crack drugs. All right. So now they pushed this devil in a drug form, and it decimated our people. I'm talking about what heroin couldn't do, what cocaine couldn't do, what alcohol couldn't do, and what churchianity couldn't do, right? Roman Catholic Christian Jesus, right? No disrespect, but that's a drug too. That right? Because it ain't the truth. You understand? The truth would have had the real people of the book, the truth, the real Bible, right? Because they weren't Christians, they were Hebrews. Jesus was a Hebrew from the tribe of Judah. Paul in the Bible was a Hebrew from the tribe of Benjamin. Moses in the Bible was a Hebrew from the tribe of Levi. They say it in the Bible, but they won't read you that part, right? They want to talk about some Christian. What is Christian? That's Roman, the enslavers, those who enslaved them. So let's not be stupid, y'all. All right, enough of the stupid stuff. It's time to wake up. Stop it already. All right, I used to love the Christian stuff too, but I don't care that you love a lie. Just because you love a lie don't mean it ain't a lie. It's truth in that book, and they say it in the book who they are. Jesus, Yahya, tribe of Judah. Paul, Shaya'al, tribe of Benjamin. Masha, Moses, tribe of Levi. Peter, Kaphayah, tribe of Benjamin. Okay? They're all from tribes, guys. Sorry. Facts. Now, they pumped this crack in the 80s because in the 80s, from the 70s, 60s, revolution, all that stuff, when they was trying to wipe them, which they did, stop the Panthers, stopped all the revolution, killed Malcolm, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, they killed everybody who was somebody. Fred Hampton, everybody was trying to help the people, our people, to wake up and come out of our slumber, clean ourselves up, destroyed it. There was the next generation, me, us, coming from that. And they like, well, we need a way to wipe them. Now, listen, we were also the generation that created hip hop. You understand? This generation, the ones right above me, it's our same generation, but the elders, like my elder Kevin Jeter's age range. Hip hop was created, coming out of disco, so when I go back on this channel to the beginning of hip hop, y'all gonna love that. Y'all gonna learn some real stuff. Before a rap record ever existed, when it was in the parks, you heard? Cold Crush 4, Fantastic 5, coming to the Roosevelt roller rink and going to the Lions Club. And hey, oh, we got some stories. We going to the Armory, to the Brooklyn Armory, to the Queens Armory, the Harlem World, oh my goodness, the Roxy, the Fever, all that, LQ, Latin Quarter, and all the hip hop. That's where Nasty 4MCs, my group, we came from. Baby Cold Crush 4MCs. Now, in this expanse, there was a generation that was creative, that was coming off of the revolutionaries, the Black Panthers, and the red, black, and green, right? And the Nation of Islam, you know what I mean? And they had back then the Hebrew Israelites and Noble Drew Ali and all these different factions, Marcus Garvey movement, all these different factions that was all kind of to clean the black man up and come up out of, right? And they destroyed all that. But this generation that was coming, they knew the serpent seed. They're really creative. They came off of the revolution. They don't know nothing about, yes, sir, no, sir, master. Yes, sir, master. They're not scared from the trauma that happened in the South with Jim Crow and the lynching. They don't have that fear because when they came up, the Panthers in them and the revolutionaries, they had community centers and where they programs for them, feeding them and teaching them that they were kings and queens and to not settle and you could be anything. So we can't manipulate them. They ain't gonna take the okie doke. They ain't scared of us. And they're really creative. It's like if we don't shut them down, a whole bunch of messiahs is gonna come through them. This generation. These are the babies of the 60s, 70s. 60s, 70s babies. If we don't shut them down, a whole generation of messiahs is going to come through. Oh, this is a brilliant plan that they did. They were smart for them to do it. This is the serpent seed. This ain't got to do with no white man. Some of them have white skin. This is a serpent seed. It's a different level, guys. Yeah, y'all need to watch more. Y'all get more understanding. Because that's a banana in your tailpipe that you just thinking white man. How's a white man? The white man. So you got other than white men stuck in them trailer parks, sipping on meth with no teeth in their mouth, taking a fentanyl and stuff, right? What about them? They white too. See, it's a different breed. The serpent seed got white skin, the fallen angels too, but they use the other people with white skin. Remember, it's nationalities, but we'll do that another time. I just got to walk this down to get to this story tonight. So now this generation. I was wondering how this was going to go. I'm liking how this going down right now. Facts. I'm really liking. I'm digging this, Yah. That's the man's High's name, which I call God. I'm digging this, Yah. So this generation, they was like, okay, we going to Q Dog said, what was the name of the roller skating rink in Manhattan? And we went to White Castles after it. It was a couple of them, Q Dog. Hold on. Let me I got one coming. I think you've talked about Lacey's or USA or the other one, the one in Manhattan. What was it called? What's it called? I can't think of it. But when we go back, Q, I'm gonna be doing the videos on it. Facts. When we go back in the story, we're gonna be talking about all that, Q, and you can tell me stuff that we did that I don't remember, that you was with me that I don't remember. All right, let me get back. Let me get back to my story. So guys, they hold on. Know what would be nice right now? But I should save it because I'll save it because when I put my video out, then I'll be able to do it. Because if not, well, I could do it because then I can take it out and stop it. Let's do this right now because that'd be kind of dope right now. Here we go. So now they knew that a generation was going to come through this bloodline. And because of this generation came, they didn't have the fear from what the slave masters did and from Jim Crow and everything. And they had a creative, from the revolutionary, the ancestors before them who didn't get caught out on heroin, the ones who got cleaned up, and from the Nation of Islam and all that, they were taught to be something. And if you don't stop that, then they will shout to Ralph Man in the building and Hope Man in the building. They will be something. So and the reason why I said about the Christianity is because it's not that the Bible ain't real. It's that the Roman Catholics took it and changed their identity and changed it so that if the people don't know, and that's written about them in the book, they would know that there are laws that they got to keep from the Most High and everything will go right with them. But if not, if they don't know that and they keep sinning and keep doing the things that's against the law of the Most High, then they're going to stay cursed. And we can keep proliferating off of their misery. See, remember the devil knows the scripture. He took Mashiach, the Messiah, what they call Jesus, up on the mountain and read the scripture to him and tried to make him go against the Most High and said, I'll give you all this to be yours. That's why they got the entertainers now. So we created a thing called hip hop. Ooh. And it was us telling our poverty and our pain. It wasn't dark when it first started. It was telling the poverty and pain of the things we going to. And then we had now hip hop covered all expanses. You had education, you had streets telling, you had You had inspiration, you had history teaching, then you also had imagination teaching, meaning you had rap that would, especially at the beginning, would tell of things that we desired to have. So you'll have a song like Special Ed called I Got It Made, where he said, I got a dog with a solid gold bone. And now listen, we'd be saying stuff like, I want in an OJ. OJ was something that we used to call a limousine back there, was an OJ. I want to drive in an OJ and I want to do this. It would be like the things that you wanted to have. I want a plane in the airport and that. I want to this with that and that, right? And then it advanced to saying you have it, right? I have a this and a that. It's just making it in the first person, speaking things into existence. You understand? So, but you had all different realms. And then I remember when they pumped the crack, it was a strong movement in our hip hop that we created. It was all about stop the crack. Stop the violence. No crack. You had Brand Nubians before they was Brand Nubians. You had Master Don and Grand Poopah and them with cracked out. Doom, 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 crack, right? Say no to crack. We had graffiti written all over the hood in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Strong Island, in Queens, in Staten Island, everywhere. You had graffiti's tags, say no to crack, no crack. Crack kills. They knew to stomp. The nation of gods and earths turned a lot of us into young gods walking the earth, teaching us knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture of freedom, justice, and equality, having us responsible, having the women cover themselves in 3/4 culture, wearing skirts to cover their bodies. See? Clean up the black man, woman, and child, teaching us Muslim girl training in general civilization class, where we got the offshoot from the Muslim. That's Clarence 13X Smith from Temple Number 7 in Manhattan, where Malcolm X was from. They was partners. They killed Clarence 13X Smith first, before they killed Malcolm, in a lot of projects in Manhattan and stuff. Okay, these are a history that people don't know about. In this generation, you will get these millionaires, billionaires now. Where you think Jay-Z come from? Where you think Puff and them come from? Where you think Biggie and them come? Where you think all the beginning of all these hip hop stars, Nas and them come from? They're younger watching us that was running in the streets when they was little and start to write about it. They would write about it. So Jay-Z would come from a Calvin Klein and a Danny Diamonds and them, in Marcy in Brooklyn. Nas would come from the people in his hood, Queensbridge. So the people who was outside living that life, they would write the stories, right? But then they came and later infiltrated the hip hop and took it over and destroyed it and turned it dark, right? That's when they stopped. Remember Rakim came out of Strong Island, Knowledge Yourself, the God MC. He said, no pork on my fork, strictly fish on my dish. Getting the kids away from swine. Yeah, Public Enemy came out from Strong Island. Fight the powers that be. You know, that's when they said a song, Night of the Living Basshead. The other song, I heard a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read, it said they were suckers. Like, we had different all type of hip hop for anything that you wanted to enjoy. Clear entertainment, just whatever kind of storytelling. Then you had your street storytellers, Coogee Rap and stuff came out later. We was there, Nasty 4MCs. We had a song in the 80s, Four Brothers. We all were into drugs. Because when you're from the streets, you're classified as thugs. Raheem had a deal set up to sell some coke. Four brothers from Philly wanted to buy some dope. We had another song called Living Life in the Ghetto. Living in the ghetto, lives are taken every day. You see about people lying, dying, each one in a different way. From drugs, 15-year-old street thugs, looking up to me because of who I was. 2 o'clock in the morning, little boy in the alley back with some old crack-headed man talking about selling them some crack. And we would say, we got some crack for you, but in a pipe you'll never put. The only crack you get is you getting the crack of that ass whooped. You hear? That's the 80s. Hip-hop. Nasty Form C's, that's my crew. We was huge, legends. New York street rap legends. You heard? Public Enemy come from us, Biz Markie come from us, Method Man come from us. All of them, they know. Facts. You heard? When we go back, y'all see. So anyway, I got receipts and all. Why you think I showed the picture of me and Granddaddy IU Music Vibe? Why you think Granddaddy IU had me with him and put the mic to me? I got a video Granddaddy IU said he came from me. He started rapping because of Nasty Form C's. Where he from? Cold Crush 4 MCs, Nasty Form C's, us. We're legends. Facts. KRS-One, you must learn. Facts. You heard? Now, hip hop, guys. Hip hop. Our creation. They come and they took it and infiltrated it. And now they got them, they stopped. They anybody that would do any type of, we had Poor Righteous Teachers, King's Son, anybody that had any type of lyrics in your music that would try to help our people, they took your record deals. They stopped you. You understand? And they gave record deals to those who were promoting violence and drugs. And then when they got their hands on NWA, it was a wrap. Once they got their hand on that gangster rap, because we steady being them from Philly, real first gangster rappers, and what's the name in New York? What's his name? PSK. What the hell does that mean? And we had some gangster rappers too. That's what I said. We had stories. That's what I said. 4 brothers. We all were into drugs. Drugs. If you're classified for streets, you're classified as thugs. It was telling a story about going to pick up and robbing these dudes. It was just story that stuff we was living, right? Right. So anyway, we did our time for any crime we committed back in the 80s and stuff. But so now they infiltrated it, guys, and took it over. And now making them, it's all satanic now, right? It's all a wrap. They took our creation and manipulated it for death when it would have been used to give employment to our people and a voice and to help, right? It had all aspects. But this ain't nothing new. The Serpent Seed wants to destroy the original. Now let's get to tonight's story. Sorry that took so long, but I ain't sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You heard? And then I'll be able, like again, I said, tonight's story about the preacher, I'm going to clip it up and I'm making a video, my documentary. So it'll be something y'all could just press play and get to the preacher documentary. But tonight, I wanted to bring out some things about my documentary and the preacher stuff. But I like the way this is going down. Sorry, not sorry. All right. So now, the 80s, crack. Oh my goodness. My generation, crack vials everywhere on the playgrounds. They closed the community centers. They closed all the community centers with the red, black, and green walls. And they had the parks and the crackheads in the parks and crack vials. Crack was the income. Crack was the heart. If you had a good family, a mother and a dad that could save you from it, you were blessed. Most of us, we were, like I said, skate key facts. We were victimized by it. Now, let me tie in when I get to preaching. There's a book, and it's called 48 Laws of Power. And this book has been used to do a lot of damage. Very powerful book. I bought it and I owned it back in the days. All right. And but most people don't know it's been done to do a lot of damage in the hood. Mostly everybody that was somebody bought the book, if you were wise. So 50 Cent used it, the rapper, I think Jay-Z, like a lot of people. I own the book. I end up buying the other one too, 48 Laws of Seduction, trying to learn how to seduce. All right. Now, these 48 Laws of Power, it's wisdom in there, but it's used to manipulate and dominate, but not in a positive aspect. But just because something is negative, guys, doesn't mean that the principles of it don't apply. The principles still apply. It doesn't matter that it's negative. One of the 48 laws of power, the first one is never outshine the master. So what that is a principle, it's a principle of like, if someone's a teacher, see, these principles can be used for good or dark. They exist because the light and the dark exist. But most people, it was pushed on, like once we grabbed it in the hood, it was used to survive the hell that we were in. So it's mostly used for dark. But the overall principles of the book can be used for light. Remember, it's how you use a thing. So a perfect example is you can grab a knife and you can use the knife to cut your fruits and vegetables and make your dinner to feed your family. Or you could take that same knife and stab someone in your family and kill them. See, it's not the knife that's evil, it's the intent behind the use of the knife. You heard? So it's not the book that's wicked. I don't know if he made it to be wicked, I don't care about that. But I know the book ain't wicked. It's the intent of the user who's going to read the book and what he gets, what spirit he's going to get from it. It could be used for light or dark. So a lot of the book, the 48 Laws of Power, was used in the hood for my generation back in the days for dark. The first law of that power that that brother who wrote the book, the white brother who wrote the book, was never outshine the master. That's wisdom. What that means is if someone's teaching you and you're receiving, you don't have to try to outdo them or outshine them. You're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be silent, receiving. It means, in the scriptural sense, it means be still and so you can be empty so that you can learn. Let someone teach you and don't always have to outshine them. Don't always have to be the spotlight, right? Be humble and meek. Be the student. Just because you're the student, the real student in a righteous sense will be grateful and thankful what they learned from the teacher or the master or whatever you want to say, right? Or the elder. They will be grateful and humble. And like when my brother Kevin Jeter come in, and I always be like, that's my elder. Because I watched him growing up. He was my elder and I watched him and I learned things from him. So I never try to outshine him. I give respect and love where it's due. That's what that first principle is. Never outshine the teacher, the master. Stay humble and thankful. That's the scripture too. And with that, you can become a teacher and master, and then people, if they take the same principle and don't try to outshine you and receive, then others, it'll go down the line. It'll be a each one teach one, and that's growth. But I'm gonna show y'all how these principles can be used for darkness tonight in this preaching. The second law of power in this book, 48 Laws of Power, is don't trust friends, use your enemies. See, there's some wisdom in there. It says, don't trust your friends. Whew, friends. See, from the nation of gods and earth, we had a teaching from Clarence 13X Smith, Father Allah, that friends means fry, F-R-I, those who will fry you in the end. So if you separate friends, F-R-I-E-N-D, those will fry you in the end. So what we used to learn in the nation of gods and earth is that we didn't call you a friend. Either you are a brother or you are an enemy, right? Brother or sister. That's what we were taught, right? That's just a parable on play on the words, right? Again, I'm not saying in the script, I'm in the Hebrew, friend mean a whole different word. It's not called friend, that's English, transliterated. But because I know in the Messiah said, we are to be a friend, right? But that's a transliterated word. So anyway, this second power principle, don't trust friends, use enemies. It's very powerful. It's what it's really saying is keep an eye onto those close to you. Right? Your friends, those who call yourself your friends, a lot of them will be the ones who stab you in the back. Family too. The scripture says enemies will come from those of your own household. It'll be the ones, your day ones. When the Messiah, what they call Jesus, came, what did they do? It was those who didn't receive them. The scripture says he went to his own and his own received him not. It'll be your own hood who will stab you. Where people from other hoods will be like, yo, do you know man, they congratulate you. It'll be those ones you better watch your circle before they hurt you. You see? It says don't trust your friends, and it says use your enemies. That means that's that parable of saying keep your friends close but your enemies closer. Right? Keep your enemy. That means use your enemies, knowing their weaknesses. It means study to show yourself proofs. I know who you are, and I'm gonna use your hate for me. I'm gonna use your jealousy. I'm gonna use your disdain to manipulate a situation so you won't harm me, because I gotta exist around you, right? Because what can I do? You live around me, or you listen, guys. You could be at work. Oh, come on, guys. Come on, somebody. Right? You could be at work. And the enemy be your supervisor or the other person working for you, trying to get you fired and talking about you and all that, right? You got to use your wisdom. You got to understand they trying, right? Use your enemies. You understand? You better play this game. That's why they call it the game of life. Okay? Now, another one is master your intentions. Protect your reputation. Always say less than necessary. Court attention at all costs. Win through actions and not argument. Ooh, that's a good one. Win through your actions, your works, your deeds, and not arguments. Argumentative, that's emotion. That means somebody got you off your emotional Richter scale. They got you off your balance, right? They got you outside yourself. Win things through your actions. That's scripture right there. Through your works, through your deeds. Stop with all the words. Do the doggone thing. All right? Now, I am going to, another time, I guess, I might do it here. I guess that would be dope. I'll be visiting this and going through with some wisdom. But let me get with the theme of tonight, the preacher. This story, Clarence Heatley, they call him Preacher. Preacher got a nickname in the hood. He got his nickname Preacher, they say, from he was very charismatic. He had a gift of manipulating people with his words. He would befriend people soft-spoken and build a trust. He would make people think that he was on their side, right? He was for them, right? He would, you know what? Let me do this because I got the picture. That'll be kind of dope. Where's the picture? I didn't screenshot that. I know I did. I wanted to put that one. So I could put this one. It's all right. It's better than nothing. Let me do this one. All right, so, and then go here, present, share screen. And I got something for y'all, don't even worry about it. Share screen, that'd probably be dope with the presentation. So, Preacher, he had the gift of gab, Q-Dog. He would rock them to sleep by being kind and soft-spoken and looking helpful. But at the same time, he had an agenda. He was a master manipulator. This brother on the screen, Preacher Hartley, he stood 6'7", over 260 pounds, almost 300 pounds, right? This man was like a beast. He was no joke, huge, towering over people. Now, I'm going to find out more, but the legend was, and they say that he was a black belt in karate. They say that he was a 6'7", almost 300 pounds black belt in karate. but he was a monster. Let me explain something to you. A monster of all monsters. Preacher was nasty monster. But his most powerful dark gift was his gift of manipulation. They say that he got his nickname Preacher when he was young because they say he was, with his gift of gab, his word, he was so charismatic that everyone would listen to him whenever he would speak and talk. He would have everyone's attention like a preacher. So they say that's where he got his nickname as Preacher, because of his manipulation. He would take that manipulation into darkness. When the crack era hit, it was so much darkness everywhere with the money and the power. So money is not evil, but the love of money is evil. Money comes with the spirit because it's a thing that can bring life or death. It can feed or it can kill. The money and this devil called crack that was released in our hoods, right, that spread throughout the country in America, and later I'm quite sure it went abroad. It put a spirit of devilishment over every ghetto, where the money and the greed and the lust and the murder and the lust, what was this? The greed, the 7 deadly sins, boy: hatred, angry, lust, anger, wrath, greed, money, all that. Money is mammon. That's the devil's spirit over money, is mammon. Now the money itself ain't evil, but it's the spirit over it. That amount of money and greed, and then the spirit of the crack and the poverty, and then all the people, the women and the, oh my goodness, the women and the men who used to go to work every morning and work for the post office, or worked in the school, or worked for the train transportation, or worked in nurses, and they became crack. This crack drug turned them into zombies, where the women are walking around with sores and scabs and selling. The children are not eating, and it's just and then one hand, the kids that's selling it are making money, and then the greed of the money for those who don't have the ability to sell it, don't have the salesman skills and everything to believe. Then you get takers want to take it, and it bred so many different levels of crime. You had robbers and stick-up kids, and Preacher was one of the darkest of them all. Preacher was he would hustle, but he figured out it was easier to take it. So Preacher would rob the hustlers. He was also a hitman for hire. So some rival drug dealers in New York could also pay Preacher to rob some of their competition. The Preacher was a serpent. So it was a very what word am I looking for? It was a very dangerous prospect to think you're gonna hire him to rob somebody else, because Preacher would just so soon as double back on you, because he was a snake and couldn't be trusted. He was the lowest of the low. He had a crew. He built a crime syndicate crew, and the darkest part of his faction was called the Janitors. This part of his crew, called the Janitors, they were the ones that he would use to clean up the mess. They were like the cleanup crew. They were janitors because after they would torture their victims in this abandoned house in the Bronx that they would take them to, this abandoned building, this thing, this lair, this tomb of torture, when they would kidnap. Preacher's number one crime of choice was kidnapping and holding for ransom. When they would kidnap someone, they would take them to this place, this dungeon of torture, and they would torture the person and try to get the family members to give them money. So they would kidnap you if you had money, and if they didn't just get it from you, try to get your family to bring you the drugs and the money. And they would torture. And 9 times out of 10, you would not come out alive, even if the people gave the money. This torture den, it was told that the torture that would happen in there from his crew of sickos, he had a bunch of psychos, y'all learn who they are from the documentary, and they would take joy in the savage brutalness of the torture. The more bloody and gory, the better for them. They would like it and get off on it. It is said that they would not only, this was the worst part of it all, is that preacher was known to not only torture them to death, but he would also rape the men. Another urban legend was that he would rape the men to death. He's 6'7", almost 300 pounds, and they would be tied up, and they said they would beat him half to death, and they said preacher would also rape the men. So he had that side to him as well. That urban legend, dark legend, was really scary to me. Because when I do my documentary, I'm going to tell the account of when I seen them and his presence and how big and huge and his myth. And I showed y'all my pictures at the beginning, how I rode. So I was always in a Benz, and Preach was running around in a Benz. At that time, when I seen him, he was running around in a black Benz, right? And I think I might have had my silver 500 Mercedes then. And y'all see how I used to wear. But I remember when that legend, when he said that he was known to rape the men until they died to death, that kind of shook me, because I'm used to stick up, I'm used to the cops, I'm used to all that, I'm used to that. I know I'm gonna die at any time. I know I can just, if they catch me slipping, I could be dead all the time. I'm psychotic. I'm used to that back in the 80s. I did my time for all the crimes I committed. This was the stuff, the life that they lived in the crack era, so I'm used to it. That's all I know, right? I'm walking around like Unique said, I ain't tucking my chain or nothing. But one thing that really shook me was that, and when I saw him, honestly, a little flutter went through me. And I was like, but I'm gonna save the story for when I do the documentary of my one-on-one confrontation. And I'm nobody. I was only like 5'11" back then, 170 pounds soaking wet. I could fight a little, no, I could fight, but I can't beat everybody. I definitely ain't beating him. He's 6'7". He got like 10 years over me in age, or 15 years or something. And he's supposed to be a black. The crazy part, guys, he was a black belt. Then that's theory. I would have to, somebody from the Bronx that really know, but this was supposed to be the legend. He was a black belt, 6'7", all right? Now this man was a psychopath. They got off on the killing. Another legend story was that they tortured a drug dealer, tortured him like they did in this dungeon, right? And they got off on it. They were sickos. It was a crew. Y'all see in the documentary, the preacher crew. And they, and he had rules. They were really loyal. But another legend story was they chopped the head off of the person that they were torturing. They chopped his head off, and they played soccer with his head on the roof of the building. They were said to had kicked his head playing soccer on the roof. And people saw it and knew about it. So a lot of these urban legends are not just myths, tales. There's witness to people seeing it and saying it. They played a soccer game with the head for a long time on the roof of the building. Preacher was New York's worst nightmare. He was very methodical. So the reason why I titled this 48 Laws of Power, because within Preacher's manipulation, you could see the laws of power. So there was a, Larry Yah said he was a 10th degree black belt. There was a brother who put out a video a while ago, and he was kind of, what word I'm looking for? He was kind of explaining that he did a great job of which laws Preacher was using to manipulate and run his organization. There we go. I did some notes I want to point on. Preacher was very strict with his crew. One of his laws with his crew was that they were not allowed to use the drugs that they were selling. And if one of them were caught, death was the sentence. Another law was they were not allowed to steal from one another. No stealing. So he had very strict code. And in the documentary, I'll show y'all, and my documentary is going to be different because I have firsthand account, and plus I got other stuff that I'm going to bring out because his story's been told. But one of the most famous stories about his dark legacy, right? Because he's a dark legend. His dark legacy was when they kidnapped Bobby Brown, the singer from New Edition. Bobby Brown is the luckiest man in the world, because they probably would have raped Bobby Brown too. They probably would have killed him, and they probably would have raped his celebrity booty. They probably would have got some of that celebrity Boston booty. Okay. So one of his most famous dark legends was when they kidnapped Bobby Brown and held him for ransom. And Whitney Houston came and she bailed him. Whitney Houston paid his ransom. Okay. Whitney Houston saved Bobby Brown's black life. Because Bobby Brown used to be in New York. That's back when he had the 560 SEC Mercedes. That's the two-door coupe. I never had a 560. I always wanted one, but I never got one. I had the four-door 500, right? And then later they came out with the 560, and they had a coupe. It was one of the most famous joints. There's a 560 SEC. He put it in a song, Bobby Brown. I drive a 560 SEC. And I remember where he bought it from. He bought it from Hills. I remember where he bought it from, and all that. And Bobby used to come through, because Bobby was gangster from out there, from Boston. He was gangster. So he used to come through with 500. He used to be in the clubs in New York back in the 80s. It was no joke. So that'll be coming out to, I think the money she had is why, that's why they didn't kill him. She paid up. And then they actually let him go, which they never usually did. And Whitney, I'll save it for the documentary. So Whitney Houston saved Bobby Brown's life and paid the ransom. And they had him in the dungeon. They had him in the torture chamber. What's name? Tied up, blindfold, all that. Yeah, Bobby lucky, man. Bobby is blessed. Not lucky, Bobby is blessed that he ain't dead. Now, let's enjoy and experience this video of this brother breaking down Preacher and his manipulation of the 48 laws of power. Let me close this. I can leave that open for another time. I'm gonna have to pull it in. Okay, it's all right. I can pull it in. I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Oh no, that's the old pics. So where's my video? Oh, I think I already put it over there. Did I do it? Let me see. Hold on. Let me stop this thing from popping up. My notification. Mute that. All right. So where is it? So close that. Let me just close that for now. Make sure I can find it. Okay. There we go. I can just pull it up here. Let me pull it right over here. So here we go. So here we go. This is a brother did a great job of Preacher and the 48 laws of power. Here we go, guys. So now Chrome didn't shut down correctly. I don't want to shut down. Oh, okay, that's it. So let me, I don't know what that's, why is it trying to shut down? I don't want to shut down. Let me close that. There we go. Okay, so here we go. What happened? Make sure your speakers are, oh my goodness, that whole time? No, bueno. Thank you. My speakers was on. That's probably gonna mess up my audio on this video. I hope it don't. All right, so now, I hope it don't. All right, because I think I got to stop the echo. But anyway, sorry guys, my speaker was on. All right, so now, let's go. Present, share screen, Preacher, and the 48 laws of power. Here we go.
Preacher. The media named him the Black Hand of Death. He was a leech, a master manipulator, and a creep. Saying no, but let's just get into the video. Now, the first law that I noticed he used was law number 3. Conceal your intentions. Now, the art of manipulation. He's a nice guy was everyone's first impression of Preacher. That's how you get people to let their guard down. That was his go-to tactic. Conceal your intentions. He acted as he was doing you a small favor so he can get something big out of you in the long run. He would give guys narcotics to act as he was showing them love, and then he would force them to sell it. And once you take something from him, you owe him 10 times what he gave you.
All right, so what the brother is breaking down was Preacher was manipulating, I think he said law number 3. He would act like he's given, and I heard this stuff too, but brother, he would act like he's got a package and giving them work and looking out for them. And people would be like, oh, okay, thank you, man. He'd be like, yeah, just bring me back. You know, that's what a package is back then. You would give someone, let's say you give them an ounce and you say, bring me back $400 or something, right? And you know, bring me back that and everything else you make is yours, right? So he'd be like, oh, thank you. The Preacher was a manipulator. He would give it to them to have them in his like web, in his spider web, meaning once you dealt with him, then you couldn't get rid of him. It's like you entered his realm, his world. So he would give it to them, but then he would demand more and more and more. And people were so intimidated because he was a stone cold killer. He was 6'7". It's crazy from one being a stone cold killer, right, with guns, but he was a black belt and 6'7", almost 300 pounds. He could probably kill him with their hands. So that's a double, that's crazy. You definitely, and he's so big, you're gonna have a big gun. You're gonna have to have a big gun to try to kill him. you need a big gun. You know what I mean? Like you ain't killing him. I don't even think you stopping him with nothing under a 9mm, you know, or 38 or something. Shout out to Waleed in the building. All right. So now he said, Preacher manipulated. I need to write down which law is he on. I think he said law number 3. Yeah. Conceal your intentions. It says keep people off balance and in the dark, but never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelope them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it's too late. So now listen. See how I said this sounds so dark? But there's wisdom in there. Because you can use this for light or dark. because this is true. You even in the righteous sense, a lot of times you have to conceal your intentions because you're in the dark and people are trying to harm you. So if you don't let what the scriptures say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. See, that's what this conceal your intentions thing is. Keep people off balance and in the dark. See, because what he's saying is there are snakes out there that are trying to manipulate and destroy you. So if you don't reveal the purpose behind your actions, don't let everybody know what your intentions is, what you know and how you moving, then they can't use the things to harm you with. I used to call it giving people bullets in their gun to shoot you with. I'm not with that. I'm not in the game of giving people free bullets so they can shoot me with the doggone gun. Right? I'm giving you the bullets to shoot me with. Nah. I'm good on that part. Yeah. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Thank you, Laria. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. That's in the scriptures. Right? So it says, if they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare. See, he said a defense, but you could say they cannot prepare to destroy you. Right? So defense means if you're at war, that's why it's, so they cannot prepare offense as well to harm you with. You see? So he said, guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelope them in enough smoke. That's throwing the banana in their tailpipe and let them think you over here, you doing this, but really your intentions is to do this because you know who they are. You know they're trying to harm you. This is for the righteous. You see why I said this could be used for evil. So the brother broke down that preacher was using this tactic, and he did it very well because preacher was known. By the time it got out, don't take nothing from preacher, right? By the time I got out, don't receive nothing. Like preacher was the type, he'd come out and be like, excuse me, would you like, would you want me to hold the door open for you? Nah, I'm good, preach. I'm good. Matter of fact, I'm going back upstairs. You don't even hold the door for me. I ain't owing you nothing. You understand? I'm not owing you nothing. I ain't want nothing from you and nothing to do with you, right? Because they learn, Larry, y'all said, I'm wrong, you're right. So I was right? Don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing? All right. All right. So somebody will write which one is right. All right. So, all right. So now, because he was manipulating, and now remember his nickname, Preacher, he was so charismatic with his words and kind of soft-spoken and gentle and kind and making you think, but not knowing he's a serial killer. Like this dude was a monster. These things are wisdom, guys. This stuff is happening around you. So you have to be very careful with those around you, even those who look like they have good intentions, who look like, like even in a relationship, right? For my sisters, keep girls away from your husband, right? Dudes, keep these dudes away from your girl. Same thing in relationships. Yeah, that sister, she like trying to smooth you up, but on the low, she's trying to get with your man. You don't even know it. Man, keep your eyes on the swivel. Stop being fool with the fool, guys. Okay? Lariaro, Matthew 6:3. But when thou doest your alms, let not your left hand know what your right hand doeth. There you go. All right. I was correct. Praise y'all. All right. So now, because people have ulterior motives for things, that's why the scriptures say we called to be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. The reason why it says we're called to be wise as a serpent is because there's a bunch of serpents out there in the world. So if you don't have the wisdom of the serpent, what's going to happen? You're going to get bit. You see? If you don't know how a serpent moves and flows, you're going to be a victim for the serpent. All right? So conceal your intentions. Don't just let all your stuff out there. Don't let everybody know everything about you, because people are going to use things to try to destroy you, for those that are serpents, that are adversaries to you. Okay? So Preacher was a great manipulator at this. That once he give you something, or once he do, then you owe him, and then he'll start saying, now you just work for me. Literally, he was so nasty, guys, that he would get to a point where he would say, here, take this package and bring me back the whole thing. Like, he had people slaves, like, you won't even make nothing, you working for me for free. And they was too scared to do anything about it. Okay? Phyllis Richards said, I don't let women in my house. They'll borrow your sugar, your flour, and your man. That's a whole fact. And dudes be sniffing around your woman too, guys. I don't play all that. That's why you got to size up people's spirit correctly. I don't play all that. You know, all that ain't going down. All right. So, law number 3. Preacher was good as concealing his intentions. Here we go.
The art of manipulation. He's a nice guy was everyone's first impression of Preacher. That's how you get people to let their guard down. That was his go-to tactic. Conceal your intentions. He acted as he was doing you a small favor so he can get something big out of you in the long run. He would give guys narcotics to act as he was showing them love, and then he would force them to sell it. And once you take something from him, you owe him 10 times what he gave you. The next law I noticed was law number 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take credit. Most of the wreck surrounding his name was the actions of the guys around him. First you had Jack, a stick-up kid turned police officer, riding around robbing guys. Then you had Malik. He was a straight gun. He got busy in front of police officers.
In my movie, I'll break down. Y'all know who these people are. But Jack Cuff, Preacher had someone in his crew who was a New York City police officer, and he was a straight serial killer. Can you imagine that? So Preacher, listen to this, guys. Preacher was so darkly ingenious that he had a cop that could pull you over in a police car. See? Woo, woo, woo. You're going to pull over. And the cop could arrest you. This is what this dude did. Arrest you, right? Of course, we ain't, we don't fight back the cops or whatever, right? And arrest you, get you in the cop car, you riding, and you're like, okay, where am I going? Like, if you in Queens, the 13th precinct right here. If you in Hempstead, you like the Hempstead precinct right here. If you in the Bronx, you like whatever this precinct is right here. If you in Brooklyn, you like the 75th precinct is here. The 73rd is right here. Where you going? And he take you, right? You in Brooklyn, he take you to the Bronx. You like, where are you going? And you in the back with the cage in the cop car, and he take you to the dungeon and lock your preacher. A cop, a New York City police officer, was one of the janitors, one of the preacher crew, and he was a psychopath. So, in the documentary I'll be breaking down, he had them do the work for him. Now, he was a psychopath too, but what did brother say? Law number 7 was get others to do the work for you, but make sure you always take the credit. That's some dark stuff right there. Now, that's not a righteous one. There's nothing righteous. It's interesting that that's number 7, right? That's why I said I could tell this book is a dark spirit, right? Because that's not righteous at all. There's no righteousness in having others do work for you and taking credit. No, we don't take credit. If anyone do a work on my behalf, then I'll give them the credit for doing the work and be thankful for the work that they did. But guess what? Whatever work they're doing on my behalf is going to be work for the Father, because I'm doing the work on his behalf. And I ain't taking the credit. I give him the credit. So this law is straight wicked. There's no righteousness. You can't even use this for righteousness. That right there just let me know the book is wicked. That's why it's been used for so much evil. The reason why I'm breaking it down, because y'all have no idea how much damage this book did for the so-called black people in the 90s, for coming up in the hip hop in the crack era age. Yeah, they used it to manipulate and to do dark works. So now I see this is a dark book. All right. So These are some of his crew, and they were psychopaths. Wait till I do my documentary.
Always take credit. Most of the wreck surrounding his name was the actions of the guys around him. First you had Jack, a stick-up kid turned police officer, riding around robbing guys. Then you had Malik. He was a straight gun. He got busy in front of police officers. Just a crew of 20 to 30 men willing to do anything he says. The kidnapping of Donnell Porter, he damn sure received credit for all of that. And that strikes fear in most of the hustlers on the street, which worked out great for when it came to extortion. Now we have law number 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. First impressions last a long time. Just like I said, everyone says he's a nice guy from the start. He gives his honesty in the beginning. It only takes someone one time to be honest in a situation for someone to start calling them thorough and to stand up. Why is that? That's the reason why there's so many disappointments out here. But really, we disappoint ourselves. But when preacher shows honesty once, that gives him an opportunity to use selective honesty later down the line. Just like when a female tells you, yeah, we chilled, but nothing happened. You might think to yourself, oh yeah, she was honest about going over there. Oh yeah, to throw you off. A lawyer once said that all you have to do is tell half the truth. Law 15, crush your enemy totally.
Okay.
To crush your enemy, to throw you off.
That's a
That gives start calling them thorough in a long time. Just like I said, to disarm your victim.
Law number 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. See, yeah, this is a dark book. Victims, right? Now, that's manipulation. The brother gave a great example of it when he said, take a story of a woman that was with another guy, your girlfriend, let's say your girlfriend, and she admits, yeah, I was with him, but then she says, but nothing happened. Now, the truth, you'd be like, some would think like, okay, well, she told the truth, she was with him, but she did selective honesty, just enough to disarm. So, but nothing happened. And for the fool, I'm saying that for the fool, it could make one think like, okay, well, she was honest. She said she was with him, so maybe nothing happened. All right. So yeah, honesty and victim do not go together. That's why I say this book is wicked. This book is a serpent. I can see it's used. That's why it's used in our hood to destroy, manipulate. Now I see. So selective honesty. So it's being honest about its manipulation, about one part to build a trust while not being totally honest about the whole thing so that you can gain someone's trust to get closer to them. So, and generosity. So preacher would be nice and help and generous to get closer to people. Okay? And that was one of his greatest tactics, to get closer. He was sounding like a gentle giant, but really a dark monster.
Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. First impressions last a long time. Just like I said, everyone says he's a nice guy from the start. He gives his honesty in the beginning.
So what these brothers saying is everyone's story about preacher was that he was a really nice guy when they first met him, right? Everyone's like across the board. He's a really nice, gentle guy when they first met him.
It only takes someone one time to be honest in a situation for someone to start calling them thorough and to stand up. Why is
That's our hellhole. Look at New York City. See this hellhole? These projects, all these buildings. Boy, this crack ever was up. Well, if you could see this city and just draw a black cloud of smoke over it, a devil. It's like a devil's web over the whole thing in the 80s and 90s. It was insane.
That's the reason why there's so many disappointments out here. But really, we disappoint ourselves.
All
when
right,
a
let's go
female
to the
tells
next
you,
one.
oh yeah, to throw you off. A lawyer once said that all you have to do is tell half the truth. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. To crush your enemy, you have to hit him where it hurts. Add an insult to injury was something that Preacher was good at. He would not only come at you, but he would go at family members. He would show up to your funeral to hug your mother. He even paid for some of his victims' funerals. Law number 17.
Preacher was nasty. Now, Preacher was so cunning and manipulative that, as this brother said, they said he would pay for some of the victims' funeral and be at the funeral. He the one who killed your child, your husband, raped them, decapitated them. They would chop the body up in pieces and all that type of stuff. And he would come to your mother's house, cry and console her and pay for the funeral and be at the funeral sitting there. And the people, some of the people around know he did it, but they too scared to say something. And the mother don't even know. Walk up, give her a hug, give flowers. Preacher was really a work of art. Okay, seriously. And he was all about kidnapping. So he was all about hitting you where it hurts. He was a cerebral, he was a thinker in his darkness. He would see if you got a wife or if you love your children, right? If you love your children, then he'll go kidnap your child or something to get you where it really hurts.
Funerals. Law number 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. He stalked and watched his victims for weeks before he made the approach. Before you knew it, he already learned your patterns. Where you stopped to grab coffee, your girlfriend's house, where your mother's house. With him having all that,
Oh, look at my old cars. Ooh, we sorry. I just had to stop right there. Y'all see that? That's the 300E. Woo, with some hammers. That's chrome hammers on it. Chrome hammers. Dishes about 6 inches deep. Everything's paid in full. Ain't y'all kidding about it? I had one of these. Oh yeah, I had a 300. I see a couple of my cars in here. That's another 300, but that's a what's the name model. I seen a couple of my cars. Sorry guys, y'all know I'm a car guy. Y'all know how I am. All right,
coffee,
listen.
your girlfriend's house, where your mother's house. With him having all that, you don't know when to expect him. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. While you're grabbing coffee, next thing you know, he's having coffee with Jack. You visit your mother's house, he's sitting on the steps waiting. Nothing terrifies you more than disruption. Law number.
Okay, so now the law, that law number, this dark law, I'm gonna say dark. Dark law number 17 was cultivate an air of unpredictability. This preacher monster was very studious. Now, this is where he was really dangerous. Yeah, Yasha, dark arts, very vindictive. So, yes, so the Law Shah, when you put the law, put dark law, number 17. So every time you put the law, put dark law. So that now we know these are dark laws. Now, preacher studied the victim. So this is what he would do, guys. So let's say if I came on his radar, because when I do the documentary, I'm going to show what happened when I've seen him, right? And he wants to get me. What he would do was start to follow me. He would probably send John Cuff at me to get my driver's license to try to find my address. That wouldn't work because I always had stuff in other people's names, right? I was a whole different beast when I was in the street, right? That's why I still got some of those those ways. I come from the belly. That's why I be talking about this channel. I'm like, bro, I come from the ghetto, the bums, the rats, ghetto, the slums, the rats, the roaches, the bums. I mean, this was what was going on when we was out there in the 80s and 90s, all right? The 80s and stuff in the early 90s. This stuff was everywhere. Now, let's say if he wanted to get me, he would probably try to send John Cuff, that cop, to pull me over so they can get my address, right? He would probably want to find out that my picture that I had with my baby girl Star, right? I was with her. That picture I had showing me and my baby girl Star with the big Gucci link chain, That was in the Collis in the Sunrise Mall. I am taking my baby girl shopping. I'll be on Jamaica Avenue with so you see him. Oh, he got a baby girl. He got a weakness. You know what I mean? So trying to see, find where I live. So what Preacher's thing was, he would study his victim. He would study them first. He didn't just act irrationally. He would literally, guys, he would surveil them for weeks. He would watch your patterns. Every day he gets up, he goes to the corner store, he go to Nancy's store, he buys a buttered roll with a coffee, or he got a turkey and cheese. Then he comes back, he wash up, then he goes to the car wash, he goes to the same car wash. Then on Thursday, he usually go to the gym, he goes to this gym, then he would watch and surveil for weeks and learn the pattern. Now, what this nasty 6'7", 300 pounds, practically 300 pounds killer, he would show up at you go to Nancy's Deli or to the Poppy's bodega on the corner, and you go in to get your turkey and cheese. You like Poppy, and Preacher standing there next to you. And you like, okay. Okay, that Preacher, like, what's up? Like, what's up? And then remember, his personality, charismatic, he probably like, hey, how you doing? You're like, hey. See, I ain't play all that. See, I was a little different breed. I'd be like, oh, hell. Oh, hell no. I mean, oh, hell no. I'll probably pull out a gun right there. Get the, like, you gonna get away. Like, I ain't trying. I don't care. I was just, something was wrong with me. I just didn't play no games. I was not playing with nobody. I could feel stuff. Like, I could feel darkness. I was always gifted from the Most High. I could feel stuff in my sin and stuff, right? So I was not playing. I would be like, let them show up at the second place. It's a wrap. One of us gonna die right then and there. Somebody going down right now. And I can't beat you, so you definitely gonna have a knife or a gun. I'm gonna shoot him because a knife, I don't know, you need a big knife. That dude's 6'7", right? And supposed to be a 10th degree black belt. Oh no, you need a gun, right? And a big one. So anyway, I'm like, so this Preacher, he show up at the deli, then all of a sudden, you finish whatever, then you go into the gym about 12 in the afternoon, you pull in the parking lot, you pull up, and then you get out your car, you walk into the gym, got your bag, and all of a sudden his black Benz pull up and stop. And you like, and he go like this. You're like, whoa. Yeah, so this dude is showing you, he would show and intimidate you and show up at your next time, you go to your grandma's house for the Thanksgiving, he's sitting on the front. You in Brooklyn, you live in a brownstone or something, he's sitting on the step of your brownstone. See, you need to, my thing, now I did my time for any crime and I don't live that life no more, but I would not have that. I got to eliminate that. That's one thing I never let is things linger. I just didn't believe in it. If I had a beef, I got to find out what it is. I got to go to it. I got to go to the beef. So we got to because I'm not going to be looking over my shoulder. I can't. I can't relax like that. I'm already looking over my shoulder for stick-up kids who I know to try to come get me back then, and for the police to come get me because when I was hustling, right? I was doing crime and sin. I did my time for it, but this is back then. This is the 90s and the 80s, right? So I ain't trying to be, no, bro. No. So he said, the dark law number 17 said, cultivate an air of unpredictability. Now, that you can use for your advantage against the darkness. If you know darkness is trying to get you in other areas, always switch it up. Don't always keep the same patterns. I always break patterns. I always because if you keep the same predictable stuff, if someone's out to harm you, they know where you at, how to get you this, that, and they can kind of infiltrate your pattern. So these are just warfare laws, all right? They probably made them for evil, but you can use them for evil that's trying to be used against you. But yeah, that was Preacher, guys. He would show up. So he studied his victims. He didn't move first. He was in the long game. All right.
Team. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. He stalked and watched his victims for weeks before he made the approach. Before you knew it, he already learned your patterns. Where you stop to grab coffee, your girlfriend's house, where your mother's house. With him having all that, you don't know when to expect him. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. While you're grabbing coffee, next thing you know, he's having coffee with Jack. You visit your mother's house, he's sitting on the steps waiting. Nothing terrifies you more than disruption. Law number 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. The only way to survive the extortion game is to know who to try and who not to try.
That is one, if I can tell y'all any wisdom, that is a good one there. Know who you dealing with and know who not to mess with. Facts. I always knew that. That's one thing I was very keen of. I always tell you, I was not the baddest dude. I was not none, but I was always one of the wisest. I know who, I wasn't scared though. I wasn't scared of nobody, but I know who to mess with, who not to mess with. I was never scared. I've been, let me clarify that. There's been times I've been scared, but I mean, not, I'm going to do something about it, but I've been scared. Don't get that wrong. I've been scared. Like, there's been times I've been scared. Like I said, when I seen him and there was some fear that went in, but there's been times I've been scared, but I'm still going to handle my business. You understand? But I always know, you always put respect where it's supposed to be. Even if it's a dark, someone that's getting respect because they dark, or someone getting respect because they in the light. But that's just a wise man. That's a good lesson, that one right there. All right, let's go.
Do not offend the wrong person. The only way to survive the extortion game is to know who to try and who not to try. A bully picks on the weak. Why pick on someone that's going to fight back? Why try to extort someone that's going to take you to war? You offer the weak protection for a weekly fee against other gangsters and yourself. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone. The more you give, the less they value you. This man had no heart. His own wife had to contribute to the organization. This man spared nobody. He treated all of them equally. And instead of taking a fall for his family, he threw his son and daughter right under the bus. Law number 27.
All right, that's a dark law. Now, Preacher was nasty. He made, he didn't care about nobody. He treated everybody equally dark, equally foul. He was an equal opportunity foul devil of a man, sick beast of a man, monster of a man to everybody. At the end, this fool ended up snitching. But who gonna do something about it? He's 6'7", no 10th degree black. This fool he threw his children under the bus. He threw everybody under the bus. But I'll be bringing that out in the documentary. My documentary is gonna be pretty dope. This fool was a nasty one. Preacher's a beast mode, man. This was a dark work of art. I mean, it's like Hassatan's crafty. The Hasatan made him a crafty one, and then put him in a big monster of a what's the name of a package. Got the nerve to make this fool 6'7", almost 300 pounds, and no karate. My goodness, could you get more a wicked package? Now what? This is a dark law. Do not commit to anyone. What? Now let's see this. This is darkness. So look, one way that I can describe to turn this into a light, this dark law here, to turn it into a light attribute would be, do not make commitments. Yeah, he probably Nephilim. That's probably it. Yeah, facts. He probably a whole Nephilim. Facts. Probably why he's so dark. One thing I could say is, do not running around making commitments all over the place. Be very select with your commitments, meaning what you commit yourself to do. right? Because a man or a woman of the Most High is supposed to be a man or a woman of their word. So you shouldn't go around breaking your word all over the place, because then nobody can believe your word. Your word should be your bond, you see, and your bond for life, and you shouldn't give your word, your life before your word shall fail. That's what I learned in the nation of gods and earths. All right. I think it's lost and found, Muslim lesson number 14. Word is bond. That's where y'all hear people saying word is bond, word is bond. That came from the nation of gods and earths in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s too. Right? That's us. It's, have you not heard that your word shall be bond? Yes, my word is bond, and bond is life, and I shall give my life before my word shall fail. That's word is B-O-N-D. You had a lot of people saying word is born, because they don't know what they're saying, because they got that from the gods, the nation of gods and earths, us. We used to say word is bond, and we were held accountable for the word that we spoke out our mouth. Our word was our oath. But see, that was an attribute that the Most High gifted us with from the nation of gods and earth, his children, to make our word our bond. All right? So that means you just don't go forth spewing out words because you held accountable for that word. Your life is held accountable. So we used to have a thing that we used to say in the nation of gods and earth. Someone say something, you say, word is bond, God. You put that word on your life, and guess what we would do? Oh, that's how you stop anybody from lying or something. Real God, because in the nation of gods and earth, your life could be taken for that. And that was real. And unique, people know, you'd be like, word is bond, God? They'd be like, no, I thought so. Right? Now I know the truth. I thought so. Mentally, all you got to do is say, put your bond on it. And we would never do it, because we have respect for the law. That's how I know the Most High gifted us. Because remember, we was coming from the heroin, crack. We would have been lawless. See, it wasn't time for us to fully awaken yet. The curses weren't going to be over to 2020. Right now, I'm talking about we in the 80s when I'm talking about this stuff. Yeah, word is bond. So, that do not commit to anyone. It means don't go forth making commitments. Have your word be your bond. Right? If you commit to something, see it through. And if you can't, then there's a justifiable reason for it, and the person can still trust you in knowing. Right? It's like if you hire somebody, okay, you're going to come and do this job, and I can trust they'll be here to do this job. You don't want nobody around you who just keep breaking their word. Their word mean nothing to them. That's a man that can't stand on their word, right? Man or woman. So do not run around committing to everyone. That's changing this dark law into a righteous law from it. All right. So now let's see.
The more you give, the less they value you. This man had no heart. His own wife had to contribute to the organization. This man spared.
And that was wrong too. When he said, the less you give, the more you give, the less they value you. I guess that's in the darkness, but in the light, that's not true. In the light, the more you give, the more you are of value. We're called to give in the light. Give. Each give. And the more you give, the more people see value in them, because you're helping them. So in the darkness, I guess it means the opposite. Of course, that would make sense. All right.
Nobody. He treated all of them equally. And instead of taking a fall for his family, he threw his son and daughter right under the bus. Law number 27. Play on people's needs to believe to create a cult-like following. Ooh. He made the crew feel like they were a part of something. It makes you feel special knowing that your vote mattered in the situation. And we all know what they voted on. He had ranks, and we all know that ranks make people feel important, causing a person to be very dedicated to the job.
So they said he made his people and his crew feel important, and he allowed them to vote. And when the brother said, y'all all know what they voted on? What they voted on was he would allow them to vote how the person was going to die. Right? So they got the person, he would allow them to give input of how they were going to torture the person, and how they were going to dismember the person, and how they were going to, but at the end of the day, he really was just giving them, that's a great manipulation. He was giving them like some input so they can feel like they had input. And this, yes, that's why they were so loyal. Facts. This is a great dark law of darkness. It is true though that especially for the so-called black people, because we lost our first estate from the curse put over by our ancestors, we have no culture, no language, no identity. We don't own nothing. So we want to belong to something. That's why it's easier for us to belong to a gang or anything. So the collective of them belonging to something and giving it a name. And if you give them some clothes and wares, that's why you have chains that say the such and such crew or shirts and everything. It's feeling like you belong to something. And it can take on a cult like, it can turn into a cult like of a group if the leader of it is dark and want to manipulate it from their way. Yes, it become family. Facts, because we've been removed from any family and the identity become the group itself. That's why even these Israelites are out there looking like gangs now, Sakari and all them, right? It become like a cult-like gang because that's what it is. People want to belong to something. And if the leader is dark, he can manipulate, all right? And then if you also give rankings, right? If you give rankings like in the Israelites, like in IUIC, this Israelite, these camps, they give rankings. That's why they have some captains and generals and lieutenants. These are rankings, and it make the people, it bonds you even more because now people want to get the ranking, and once you get it, you're proud of what you got and all that, and they got uniforms and all that. This is just cult stuff. Yeah, and Preacher was darkly smart enough, darkly wise enough to institute that and allow them to give their input and to vote on things that's going on in the group.
Something. It makes you feel special knowing that your vote mattered in the situation. And we all know what they voted on. He had ranks, and we all know that ranks make people feel important, causing a person to be very dedicated to the job. If someone in the crew messes up, there were heavy consequences. Sometimes consequences you can't come back from. Law number 31. Control the opposite.
Let me go back to this. He don't go through all the laws he's jumping through. Play law number 27, dark law number 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. This is what's happening with Christianity, with these churches, with the Black Hebrew Israelites, with any other cults, any cults at all. They play on people's need to believe and also belong. That's what I would add in, to believe in something and to belong to something to create a cult-like following. Yes, that's a very dark law.
A cult-like following. He made the crew feel like they were a part of something. It makes you feel special knowing that your vote mattered in the situation. And we all know what they voted on. He had rank.
Yeah, politics is a cult too. Absolutely. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one was law number 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards that you deal. Okay.
Control the options. Get others to play the cards you deal. He dealt the cards and gave his victims the options to do it the easy way, which is pay up, or do it the hard way, and he'll send the janitors with the mop buckets. He even dealt the cards in his crew. Just because you're a part of the crew doesn't mean you won't get your card pulled. Law number 32. Play the people's fantasies. Now, he had a couple delusional kids in his crew that probably just needed a hug. No, but in order to control them, he had to feed the delusion. He agreed with every opinion his crew members had in a one-on-one conversation. Malik and Jack, they didn't like each other. He played both sides, making both of them feel like he was on each of their sides. Law 33.
So he was very manipulative. Now, his crew was sick. The brother said they probably just needed a hug. Now, one of the sickest ones was called Malik, and the other cop was called Jack, John Cuff. Now, what Preacher would do was each individual in his crew, he would listen to them, give them his ear, and make them feel like he cared, like be personable, right? Like he's their big brother and all of it, and that he hears everybody. So he would agree with everybody. Even if he really don't agree, he's agreeing and making you think, so he manipulate. So as Malik didn't like John Cuff Jack, the cop, he act like he was on Malik's side and Jack's side and played them against one another. That's a master manipulator in darkness. And yeah, he was really wicked, man.
Making both of them feel like he was on each of their sides. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. He knew everyone's weakness around him. His victims, the crew members. With him stalking his victims, he knew if they were drug addicts, if they couldn't keep it in their pants. I mean, look how they got Bobby Brown. He knew a baddie would be his weakness. He knew Bobby Brown would be dumb enough to follow her outside the club alone at night. No, but he also watched young hustlers like Rich Porter and them. He saw how they were addicted to the flashy life, buying cars, partying. He was like, if y'all throwing money in the air, y'all might as well just give me the money. Now, law number 39, stir up waters to catch fish. Stir up waters to catch fish.
That's a dark law right there. Stir up waters to catch fish. That's the truth, though, right? Stir up the water and so the fish can come up. And for people in the ministry, I know what that water, the marine kingdom, right? That stir up, like trouble the waters, right? Y'all know people who come around and stir up mess, people who gossip, people who come around and talk about people always stirring up troublemakers is what we call them in the hood, right? She said this about you. Shout out to Brooklyn Red, Flatbush, Brooklyn in the building. She said this about you. She don't like you, did right? Stirring these troublemakers. Yeah, stir up waters to catch fish. All right? Uh-oh, there go another one of my cards on the screen.
What does that mean?
There you go. I think that's the 500 SEL with that's the other hammers. That's the what's the name? The dope hammers. But that's the later hammers, the AMG joints. But that's the 5. I had this one in silver, 500 SEL.
Preacher would come and extort guys on account. He would be calm, cool, and collective. Guys would snap and blow up on him, and he'll just smile and walk away. Guys will move out of anger and fall right into his trap. Last but not least is law number 43.
Okay.
Work on the heart anger and fall right into cool and collective. Up waters to catch fish.
Manipulating.
What does that mean?
So what he would do, guys, he would come in the hood. Like, so let's say he want to set you up. You getting money, you and your crew, y'all on 137th in Broadway in Harlem or whatever, right? The 137th St. Nicholas or something, right? Your crew, y'all out there. And he wants to, he's been scoping you out, wanting to rob you. So he would intimidate, like he would come up and show his presence and start some mess on your block to make you have to approach him or have to get you agitated. Like he would push buttons to get you to, playing on people. All right, she said dark law number 32, play on people's fantasy. Yes. Okay, so that was the other one where he would thank you for writing that, Delari Shah, where he would know people's weakness, their desires, their fantasies, anything, and manipulate. That's what I said. He was cerebral, a dark cerebral a monster. Those are the worst kind. It's bad enough that he big and can fight, karate, can fight, huge, then a killer, psycho, but then be smart too, darkly smart. Oh, this is nothing but Hassatan's you one of his greatest creatures, his greatest sons. Now, he was such a master over his own emotion, playing manipulative mind games, that he would stir up the emotions, instigated. That's the word, Laria. He would come amongst and instigate and stir up the emotion to get people in their feelings. So he'd get the person all, right? Because if you're emotional, you can't think straight. That's a great a military tactic, is to stir up the emotion in the enemy to catch him off thinking, because a calm, wise person is still, right? Is still, he's thinking he's not going to be easily ambushed because he's focused. So if you get him out of their focus, so he would come up and agitate them and get them all crazy and just like calm, laugh, talk to them all calm, and then peel off, right? Do it again, get them all, catch them somewhere else, get them all agitated, and just be like, yeah, man, you tripping, and pull off. And he would just keep doing it until he sneak up on you and catch you sleeping, catch you like, and then that's when he's going to attack. And he turns from calm into a monster, or send his crew coming as monsters. Very, very wicked thing. So again, these dark laws, you need to look out for these laws, guys, for people that could do that against you. So we're using the wisdom of the thing we're learning to use it to our advantage. Because remember, you have people, we're in a dark world. The second world is given to Hasatan. This world is given over to the devil. It's his world. We're supposed to be in it, but not of the world. So because we're in it, we are amongst all these serpents. That's why the scripture says, be wise as a serpent, but be harmless as a dove. Meaning we're not trying to intentionally harm nobody, but we need to be wise as these serpents. He is a wise serpent, and we need to be wise as him. So there are others, and people have studied this law, 48 laws of power, right? That's why the Most High had me like bring this out. I'm like, I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Father. I'm picking up what you're putting down, yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like teach them, because there are things that are coming. It's probably going to get darker and worse as it go. And people, all these serpent seeds, these high corporate America, these manipulators, these darkness, they studied this 48 laws of power dark law book. And if you know the laws, then you know that's part of one of the laws. Know what your enemy. I can guarantee you, if it ain't one of the laws, I'll make it law number 48, law number 49. Know your enemy. Study your enemy. Yes, Ayana, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. Like and subscribe. Thank you. So the this dude was nasty. And then he would get you all agitated and then strike. So be watch out for people stirring up the waters. Ooh, come on, Father. Listen what the Most High said, guys. He said, you have people, listen, sisters, especially the sisters. You have those girlfriend sisters that be stirring up trouble in your relationship. Really, because some of them want to take your man. Some other ones want you to break up so that you can be miserable and alone like them in the in the struggle bus, the relationship struggle bus. And others want you to, because you are not, and you're not taking part in their sin with them like you used to, right? Y'all don't get to go out to the club all the time, because now you got a family and a child and your husband, and you got to answer, you want to be home with your family. You can't go here and there. They want to break you up so you can be with them running the streets. They stirring up waters in your relationship. Family members, all that. Don't you let your nosy mama, because she all in your marriage and your relationship. Tell your mama, mind her business. Tell your nosy anybody. When you get married with someone, your relationship is you and them first. Don't let nobody stir up waters in your relationship. They be making a mess in that's that stirring up water stuff. So I see now the Most High got me breaking this down so y'all can see people be using these 48 laws against you. All right.
Stirred up waters to catch fish.
Let me get to the next one. The next one was 43. Work on the hearts and minds.
This law is similar to law number 33. He poses as a friend, but we all know death comes with smiles and hugs. He used your emotions, insecurities, and fears to soften you up. Next thing you know, he's controlling you like a puppet. You're a loyal pawn. But you know, many guys feared him. He did his thing. He had his run. You know, he cooperated with law enforcement. But you know, guys wouldn't approach him. Just like when Omar from The Wire. You know, he was cooperating, but he still was a gangster at the end of the day. You know, so people can say rat this, rat that, but the guy's like 6'6", 6'7", and was a black belt. So he'll beat you up, and then he was definitely about the murder game. So, you know.
All right. So let me do that last law. All right. So work on the hearts and minds.
He poses as a friend, but we all know death comes with smiles and hugs.
So he would come through posing as he's your friend, like he's not an op, kind and gentle. So he's working on the heart and mind, while in his real intention is to slaughter you.
He used your emotions, insecurities, and fears to soften you up. Next thing you know, he's controlling.
And he studied you. So he used your emotion, fears, your insecurities. He's finding a way to get into your life emotionally, using your heart.
You're like a puppet. You're a loyal pawn. But you know.
And once he got you, he got you. Now, that is the breakdown of the Black Hand of Death, is what they nicknamed him. Clarence Heatley, preacher. New York City's, I can say he might be the king of darkness of New York Cities of the 80s and 90s. I think nobody, preacher was the darkest of everybody. And tie that in with him wanting to, your weaknesses, wanting to even rape the men. That took it to a whole nother level. That part right there just shook the mess out of me. I remember back then, when I heard it back then, that shook me. I'm like, what? Bad enough. All the stuff you doing. You want my booty too? You gonna kill me to death? Doing that? Nah, you boy, this boy. So that is Clarence the Preacher. Dark legend from New York City's crack era. Chaos, murder, kidnapping, killing. 6'7", almost 300 pounds. Karate expert. Smart, patient, calm, manipulative, charismatic. Like the perfect package of destruction and deceit, darkness. There's others still out there. The 48 laws of power are dark. And I guess eventually he'll have us go through them and break it down so I could give my wisdom on the matter of the breakdown of the light of the situation. This, guys, was from the Most High. There's darkness out there, and it's after us. It wants to steal your light from you. There are dark people in your neighborhoods, in your family, sick people that serve darkness. And it's something that you can't sleep on. It's not something that is ever going to go away, but you need to be wise as a serpent. So these laws of power, dark laws that I guess I'll be breaking down, is for you to learn the darkness around you. There are people out there that are still in the streets and still doing dark things. Pardon me, these people are out there. I just watched on Netflix last night the Jeffrey Epstein documentary, the fullness of it. That was another dark devil. he was to manipulate those young girls, 14, 15, 16 years old. He had the power and the money. He ended up getting an island, beautiful island in the Virgin Islands. And the stuff that went down on that island was some of the darkest, sinister stuff. But he uses power and manipulation to bring harm to innocent children for decades. I don't think he dead now, unless he died of old age. They say that in the tombs in DC in Manhattan, that he's supposed to have hung himself in the jail, and the security camera just happened to break, and no guards just happened to be asleep. No, please. That man, he probably somewhere on that island, hurting, harming more children. This darkness will always be here, and you need to watch and protect yourself and your children. Watch everything around you. This darkness is in people that are even in your family, in your household. And you know them by their fruit. So the wisdom that you're gonna learn from this channel, and then when I do my documentaries, they're not to promote the darkness of the life and the things that I had to endure and experience. They're to show you how to survive it, and that at the end of it, you can choose good, as I did. And so now this channel is to help bring awareness and giftings to others, that I made it through all this darkness. I could have got caught up with Preacher. I was there. I could have got caught up with any of the other serial killers. John Bloody Hatchet in Brooklyn. All right, so I'll be doing documentaries and stuff on these people. And King of Law and them. I was the guy by Sean. I was at rallies and stuff in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn and all that. I was around these people. I was around the Shower Posse in the Bronx. When what I mean around is I came up in that era, and sometime I would have to do a transaction with these dark serial killers. Now I did my time for all the crime from I did from when I was young. I was like a child in the 80s and 90s, but this was my reality. So I'm using the pain of the things that I experienced and the life I live to teach, so others don't have to make the same mistakes and go through the same darkness. None of it is to glorify anything or any parts of it. It is not something that I wish on anybody. I didn't even wish it on myself. I didn't enjoy that time. Now what I mean by it is sometimes we had fun, yeah, but when I got a little older and I was really getting the money, I didn't enjoy it, because I was always watching out for the stick-up kids like Preacher and those crews and the police, right, and stuff, and the feds doing investigations and catching me, because either the stick-up kids like Preacher and them gonna get me, or the police will get me and give me 30 years in prison, 50 years in prison. So as my kids and my family is enjoying the money from the life I'm able to provide, I honestly never exhaled. I never had peace. There was a time I had all the money that I could get anything, but I couldn't pay for peace. I couldn't. Now I don't have all that money no more. I can't buy everything I want, but one thing I do got, I got some peace right now. I ain't worried about no police, because I ain't doing no crimes at all. I'm a law-abiding citizen. You see? And I ain't worried about the stick-up kids and everything, because I ain't doing that. They ain't got nothing to come get. What you want? What you gonna come get? You understand? And even if I do accumulate some wealth from the investment stuff that I'm striving to do, it's to build a homestead for the Most High's children. It's to do things to help others. And because I'm giving off light energy and I'm doing the right thing according to the Most High, I have a protector and covering from the Most High. You see? So even if I did accumulate anything, I'm not worried about nobody coming to get it, because the darkness won't have access, because I'm doing the will of the Most High. I'm doing the right next thing. But if you're not, then you got to worry. See, back then I wasn't doing the right next thing. I was trying to accumulate the bag and the wealth for myself to prepare. I wasn't a man of the Most High. I wasn't matured in the spirit of the Most High. Brooklyn Red said the streets is stressful. Facts. You'd be better off getting you a job. Go on, get you, either you're gonna get you a woman, a good woman, and start a family, or you can have just your own apartment doing your thing. But the streets is no joke. Leave it alone. The culmination of that is literally jail or the doggone graveyard. That is it. It's always been like that, and ain't gonna never change. When I was in it back then, I knew that every day. That's why I put my little baby girl, the one y'all seen on the screen earlier, and my little son in the school in the projects, because I said I need to prepare them for me not being here. Y'all see how sick that sound? I put them at school in the projects in the hood, in Martin Luther King Drive projects. I put them in the school because I said I am not guaranteed to be here to raise them. Because I can either get killed tomorrow, every day, or I can be get 50 years to life. Shout out to Reese Collier in the building, right? His hood. I put my kids in his hood, his old hood, his projects on the drive, Martin Luther King Drive, Hempstead, Strong Island. And because I didn't feel like I had no guarantee to be alive. So that means I'm living my life on the level. It was crazy, guys. Every time I would go re-up, it's like crazy, bro. Guys, okay, so when I do my preacher movie, the reason how I even got into it, not got into it, but got in his presence, was because my man in the Bronx, and I was going to we was going to cop and everything. And preacher was on the prowl, right? And he seen the car, and I'm gonna save it for the documentary, but it was that real. So every time I would even go to try to re-up, to pick up, I knew I might not come back. So I would tell my baby mother at that time, Pam, she would know. I mean, I'll say that when we go back in time. She used to come with me sometime with the kids. It was on and popping. And I used to have two guns. That time I was two-gun toting. I used to like the two-gun toting, right? I did my time for any crime I committed back then. But I like the two-gun. I told two texts when I'm in the streets. Wait till y'all hear that song. I told two texts when I'm in any of the streets. Then go beat Lex and tell him how I'm doing all this beef. That song is dope. Wait till I play that one. It's a real dope. I think that's my greatest song I ever made. About the ghetto with my man, what's the name, from Harlem. My man from Harlem singing, and he made the beat too. I think it's one of my greatest songs. I think y'all gonna agree. Wait till y'all hear that song. And I talk about all the history. You can hear the pain in the song. That's not a life to live. Shout out to Michael Watts. Shout out to Mathematics in the building. That's not a life to live. That's a life of death. You're not living. I mean, now this is living, because I can just go. I'm not worried about them coming to get me, like somebody trying to come kill me and all this stuff. And now that I'm a righteous man, I know I got the covering of the angels, malaks in Hebrew. In Hebrew, angels is malak. I got the malakim, that's the angel. That's plural. Malakyam, that's plural in Hebrew, right? So it's if I can see the light and change, everyone could. If I can give any advice, it's do what's right, guys. There's a lot of different ways to make legitimate money. Don't do no crime to end up in nobody's jail, and nobody's. Definitely don't do no sell no drugs. Definitely stay away from drugs, bro. You don't. It's just so much bad from it. There's no good fruit that come from it at all. You're gonna pay back. The thing about it, nobody gets out clean. I thought I had made it out. When the Most High gave me my first 15 of life, I was out. I had owned all those houses in North Carolina. I had owned the nightclub. I had owned barbershops. I had all the real estate. I was worth like 1.7 million. I was a millionaire. I was straight. I was supposed to take my money and put it into the stock market. I wish I would have did that, but I got caught up buying them houses, and that was the Most High. He knew. He had a second. He had it was a path that I was supposed to take, right? Right? I can't say this is how it's supposed to play out, but usually that is how it works. But sometimes we can mess up his path, right? We can miss our blessing. So I want y'all to understand that okay, you know how people think, like, well, this is where it was supposed to. That ain't guaranteed. Because the Most High can have this plan for you, but you missed it and messed it up. Then he does another route, and you mess it up, and then he does another route. So he could have had it nice and smooth. But you, with your free will, you made it a mess. And people always say, oh, this is the way. And I don't believe in that. That ain't the way. It ain't always the way it was supposed to turn out. You got in your own way. Shout out to Aaron Cross out there, to the elder. Shout out to Big A. One of the he was a police officer. I think he's retired. A good cop. Shout out to all the good cops. I always do that. Shout out to the good cops out there. We need good cops. You heard? That's why I say, who you gonna call? What you think gonna happen? Somebody run up in your house and mess you? You gonna be, well, I need the cops. You gonna want a good cop, right? So don't get that twisted. Shout out to the good cops. I wish I could have been a cop. Honestly, I tried one time. It was too late. My record was already messed up, because by the time I realized the power that I could do, the good I can do by being a good cop and helping to protect and serve like it's supposed to be, it was too late. My record was a wrap. I couldn't. That's why I'm like, man, I wish I had a dad to guide my life, that when it got time for me to really pick a career, I would have sure enough been one. I would have been one. Yep, I would have been a good cop. Facts. Because then I can help protect and serve our people. You know, we need more of that. I spent my life, you know what I mean? I've been under the gun of a lot of bad cops, you know, just for the color of my skin, sticking guns in my mouth and all that. Reese is so stupid. Reese said, you should have listened to me. Reese, shut up. Reese is so stupid. But Reese did. I see you went to the military and all that. Reese, shout out. Congratulations, King. I see you go. Yeah, Reese, he ain't pick the, you know what I mean? I had a little rougher. I can't make no excuse for it, Reese, but I had a little rough hand. Like most people didn't know. I was on the streets. I was homeless when we was young. And most people didn't know. Unique could tell you, he let me live with him. So I had a little rougher card dealt to me. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not making no excuse for it though. It's no excuse. But Reese is so stupid. That you're gonna get it again. Y'all remember what he got with his Martin Luther King thing when he messed with me, right? He gonna get it again. But shout out to Aaron in the building. Aaron came in the building. Shout out to Aaron in the building. Now, guys, where was I? Let me see. What did he say? You should listen to me. Oh, okay, listening. So, what we're called to do, if we could just help someone else from the decision and the path that we made in life, that's what we're called to do. Each one of us is called to reach back, and that's what this channel is about. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could bring some entertaining documentaries on it, but it's always going to be a story in the documentary that's going to try to help someone else to not go down the path that I went down, because I could still be in prison right now. I'm so thankful for the Most High that I'm free and have a chance to have some cranberry juice, right? And I can drink it when I want. I ain't in a cage, and I can have a channel and teaching, and that's a gift. But guys, we are the purveyors of our path in life. Meaning your decisions in what's the name? Impact the path, your journey, your decisions. The Most High gave us free will to choose. Now, we don't make the right decisions when we're younger. That's why we're called to have parents and elders. That's why it takes a village to raise a child. But they've destroyed the village. What a lot of y'all don't know, all that stuff that happened to the so-called black people, to us, is because our ancestors did a abominable sin against the Most High back in the days. And he said he cursed them and their generation, their seed, their children for generations. We are the generations of our ancestors. That's why we went to slavery and all of that. Unique said, facts, King, I really strive to do that every day. Facts. So, because of our free will, the choices that we make impact the path of our life as well as others. So, if you make the choice to try to help, we were created to help one another. That's what we're created for, to go forth and be a light to another. And if each one help another, then everyone will be helped. You see how simple that is? Everyone would have help. Instead of being crabs in a barrel and pulling on one another and destroying one another. And then the things that they put over us, they set us up to destroy us. So they did a project and they put us in buildings like a slave ship. They just took the slave ship that was this way and stood it up. That's the projects in New York City. It's called an inverted slave ship. They took that slave ship and stood it up. And you still packed in the projects in sardines, cans. But then the hood, they put a bunch of people together in poverty, and what's going to breed? It's going to breed crime, corruption, jealousy, envy. It's going to breed sin because it's an unlawful condition of life. Your free will and your choice, if each of everybody reach out to help someone else, we can try to reduce the darkness. It's just what we called to do. If we don't do it, who else gonna do it? So the fact for me doing a lesson like this, with preaching stuff, they have a lot of our youth looking up to the flash. I showed you at the beginning the way I was looking back then. The youth used to look up to me. I pull up to the projects or pull up to the store or something, right? I might pull up in my Audi 5000 with the Fendi stuff. And then when I went to Bell in Harlem to get the Fendi interior, get the Fendi seats and stuff, I got the Fendi stuff and I got the Fendi coat, right? I might have the black and gold one on with Think It Ain't Fendi with it. They thought my name was Fendi. My name wasn't Fendi because I had so much Fendi. They thought my name was Fendi. And Fendi was a dancer for EP&D from Far Rockaway. I remember I met him at White Castle parking lot. That's what Q Dog was talking about. That was Lacey's Q Dog. So when you was talking about, that was in Queens, Long Island borderline. I took him there. He met me there or something. Then we went to White Castle afterwards. So when I tell that, I got a Lacey story, Q Dog, that involves Pappy Mason, Brian Blaze Gibbs, my boy Leo Robo, Steve Lawrence, Hempstead Strong Island legend. I could say dark legend, 'cause Steve was dark. Steve was no joke. Artie from Roosevelt. Yeah, I got a dope Lacey story, Q Dog, I'm gonna tell when we go back in history again. Stars too. IU, Moni Love, Cool V from Biz Markie Cousin, his DJ. That's Granddaddy IU. Moni Love, this back then. Roxanne Shante. Yeah, I got some stories when we go back. First-hand accounts. Yeah, Unc was there. Now, the story tonight, what I'm saying is, people look up to those who look like they're getting it. So back in the days, I'm pulling up to the store in my Audi with my Fendi on, with the big chains and all that, and I get out at the store with the music, boom, 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 right? Leave the car running and all that, right? That's when you know you got some respect. Leave the car running, boom, boom, go in the store. What are the kids gonna do? They all run up, yo, right? Looking at the car and yo, look at, they looking up. So what are they going to aspire to be? What they see. So now, hopefully, we can aspire to pour into the youth. It starts with one person at a time. I'm here to tell everybody, I became a multi-millionaire by 30. Well, multi because it was over $1 million, so not multi-millions, but over $1 millionaire by 30. And this is before. Now a lot of people millionaires because of all the internet and cryptocurrency and all this. This was before all that. Ain't want nobody no millionaires. I got it the hard way, the crazy way. But I did it. And I thought I made it. I thought I was out. No. You're going to pay that back. Right when it was over, I was done. Right? I had the Hawaiian girlfriend and traveling. Jody know. Shout out to JoJo. Jody, she know we was going everywhere, on all the houses. I got the world in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. I'm thinking I literally thought I got out. I did it. I thought I was that one that said, nah, he got out clean. Oh, that's what I thought. Nah, I ain't get out clean. 11:59, 59 seconds, the Most High said, it's time to pay the piper, bro. I got something for you to do, and you need to pay back this debt of sin. And yeah, 15 to life bid, beat it. 25 to life bid, didn't beat that. And changed my life around, gave me a second chance at my life. So now I'm gonna be a light as much as I can unto all. Unique said, I'm about to be 59. Yep, your birthday is tomorrow, January 19th. Unique said, I'm about to be 59 years old tomorrow, and I was blessed by the Most High. All the things I've been through, helping a young brother or sister or a person in need, I got no problem. Money, love used to dig you, King. We was like Kickery Rock. Oh, you remember that? You held your truth for square. I understand that now. Yeah, he said Moni Love. He's talking about Moni Love, the rapper. Yeah, they was like, kick it to her. You remember that? That's what I was talking about. I'll bring that out when I do that story. Yeah, Unique said, all the things I've been through, helping a young brother or sister or person in need, I got no problem. Another action you did, you helped me. And look what I become. You helped me, young King, Unique Elder, when I was homeless. When you found out, I don't know how you found out, I forgot, you said somebody told you, I don't know how it got out. And you allowed me to come. We hid me in the crib. he was hiding me in the crib until Val found out, his mom. That house that I showed, him and his mom was renting that house that I showed. It was an apartment in a house. But that I showed me, him, and Kevin Jeter and stuff. And his mom found out, and then he asked her on my behalf until I got my first apartment in Queens. And I talked this lady into giving me an apartment. 16 years old, too young to get an apartment, but she allowed me. So you helped me, you know? And that's why I said we all called to help somebody else, because you never know where fruit come from it, right? anything. Unique said, X told me Val loves you, King. Shout out. All right. Happy Earth Birth, Unique. And you said last time, I didn't see it in your comment, you said somebody else had a birthday. You was with them. I forgot who it was. Was it Leroy Master? Somebody had a birthday. You was with him when we was on the other live last week. I forgot. I didn't see it till after the live was over. I wanted to give them a shout out. All right, guys. I know tonight was different, but remember what this channel is about. So y'all just help me as well to do the Clarence preacher. So when now I'm gonna use some of the clips of tonight, the thing I was saying in the documentary, but the documentary is gonna be dope. The movie is gonna be dope, and that should help to grow the channel. So anytime I put out the documentaries, they grow. You know, my what is it? What's that dude name? My Pappy Mason documentary, that's at 11,000, but my other one is at 24,000. The other documentary, and I only got 1,000 subscribers, so that's some good numbers. You know what I mean? So I know that that's what they want, so I'll be doing more of it. So Nate Boone, thank you, y'all. Yeah, my Nate Boone. I got a Nate Boone too. And so anyway, thank you for joining me. I was gonna end with a little bit of my testimony, but I'm not. It's all right, we can come back. I'll do it next week. Shout out to Aaron Cross. He said, great night. We're looking forward to the documentary. Thank you, A. Thank you, AC. Shout out to you and your family, AC. Shout out to you, King. Shout out to everybody, my Hempstead people that be listening. I don't even be knowing they be listening. Shout out. All right, so guys, the moral of the story tonight is be careful of the darkness that's out there. They're all over. They're even in your own households, your own family, right? Be careful. You can have children and one of them be righteous and the other one be dark. You better keep your eye on them. Yeah, Maurice Kaya said Big Bull. That's A Fresh. It's on my YouTube channel, A Fresh, the documentaries. They're on the YouTube channel. It's Uncle Yahshua 25 to Life Testimony TV on YouTube. Yeah, Aaron A Fresh, the Big Bull, football, playing football. The moral, guys, the darkness is always out there, okay? Always out there, and it wants to destroy the light that's in you, right? The darkness is a magnetic pull, and it wants to pull anybody in the light into the darkness. Your job is to maintain, keep your light lit. That's what the scriptures say. Keep your flame lit. So my job is to pour into you and to try to keep your flame lit, to keep you light in the darkness, because the darkness is getting brighter and brighter. And they could be all around you. They could be from your own household. They can even be from your own loins. 2 nations of people can come from your own loins. That's scripture. That's Bible, right? And so your job is to have your discernment and keep your eye and watch. You know them by their fruit. Everyone, don't care what people say, you know them by their works, by their deeds, their actions. The Messiah, the Mashiach that they call Jesus, he said, if you don't believe me, believe the works that I do. You know them, he told us you know them by their fruit, by their works. So don't just believe anything people say. What are your actions? Okay? So you need to be careful and watch everybody, even your children, your own household, right? You hear those stories about these children end up killing their parents and their parents did everything for them, okay? Because light and dark, all right, exists within all of us. Our job is to quell the darkness. They call that the flesh in the scripture. In the scriptures it says, die to the flesh, and so your spirit will live and magnify, because we are spiritual beings animating a physical body, right? So our job is to kill the flesh. The flesh, they call it in the scripture, the flesh desires sin. It wants you to drink, smoke, sex, go to the club. It wants to feed the sinful desires. But the spirit wants your soul to be righteous and please the Most High. So there's a war inside of you. between the good and evil inside of you. That's because in Genesis 3:6, Adam and Eve transgressed the first law of the Most High, and they brought sin into this world. They created a second world, and the world was given over to the devil. And sin and iniquity was placed inside of our hearts, the children of Adam and Eve. Going forth, we'll be all born in what? We'll be born in sin and iniquity. So we have the sin of Hasatan lodged in our heart. From Genesis 3:6, that's the beast. The beast, the mark of the beast is sin, and it's lodged in your heart. So the scripture says we should cast away our stony heart and replace it with a heart of the Most High. Meaning cast away the heart of flesh, meaning the desires of the things of the world, just the bag and a crab. I want this while my neighbor don't have this. I wanted this. Everything desires of the flesh of sin and lying and cheating and stealing and murder and fornication and all of that, right? We are to die to that and replace it with the heart of the Most High, which is respect, love, honesty, compassion, reverence. You see, love your neighbor as yourself, doing the right next thing. It don't make you weak. That's the hardest fight of them all. It's easy to serve the flesh because this flesh is fun, right? I can die to the flesh right now and say, forget all this trying to be spiritual and everything. I can make another YouTube. I can make my YouTube channel promote sin and it'll blow up. Right? Promote sin, right? Promote antagonism and promote this one against this one and do the street beef thing and all that and blow the thing up and get that bag. But I choose with my free will to serve the light instead of the dark. Okay? So just be careful. There's 48 laws of pen, these dark 48 laws of power. That's what that book should be called. Because I had the book back in the days. Now I'm reading it now with my light, the light of the Most High, right? My eye open. Now I can see the darkness in this book. That's the dark laws of 48 power. The dark 48 laws of power. Okay? And the darkness has been using this to destroy and control you. So as I go forward later in some of these other teachings and I break some more of these down, y'all can have the wisdom to know what to look out for. The darkness always wants to control you and destroy you. But the Most High have sent some children of light that's going to always be there to pour into you. I love you all, and thank you for joining Mashiach Assembly Ministries and Uncle Yahya Shah, known as Uncle Yahshua, on this 25 to Life Testimony TV. The 48 laws of Clarence, Preacher, Heatley, the black hand of death, crack, crime, kidnapping, kingpin, psychopath, monster of the crack era in New York City. I love you all. Go forth and be the light that you are in the name of the Most High. I'll see y'all all tomorrow on Mashiach Assembly Ministries, Uncle Yahshua, Mashiach Assembly Ministries on YouTube for the ministry, the Bible study tomorrow. I'll be putting a thumbnail up. I got a good one coming. I love y'all. Everybody else, I'll see y'all next week, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. on Uncle Yahshua 25 Life Testimony TV. We out. I love y'all. Thank you.
This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua. You wanna know why they call me Lucky Lucha? They call me Lucha cause I like to tuck that Tucci. All the time on the grind, getting that Ducci. This is a little story on 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua. Like and subscribe for more incredible stories every week.
Police are on the scene of a triple homicide on Long Island. It happened overnight at a home in Hempstead.
I'm from Hempstead, dark side, the ghetto, the dark side, strong, the wrong, the